Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku's secret is revealed part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content. And leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. So let's start the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A surprise visit. It was now in the early afternoon in Yuha High. All of class 1 were in the living room of their dorm just doing whatever they wanted that day. Bakugo, Kaminari, Ashido, Kirishima, and Sero were playing a fighting game and the blonde with a temper is wrecking them. Jiro was humming the tune to the music that she was listening to. Shoji and Takoyami were both reading books that they had some interest in. Koda and Sato were cooking some lunch in the kitchen, whilst Todoroki watched them while eating some soba. Sui and Uraraka were having a chat on the dining table while Midoriya was writing on his notebook near them. Ida and Yaoyorozu were helping Aoyama, Hagakure, and Ajiro in their studies just a few seats away from the three. Lastly, Mineta was nowhere to be seen. As everyone continues to do what they were doing, Izuku continues to write what he was thinking on his notebook with absolute focus. He could hear Bakugo arguing with those he was playing with as they were whining of losing from him while he listens to Ida and Yaoyorozu's lessons. Then a thought went to his head. Was there something that I was supposed to do today? He thought as he set down his pencil. Knock knock. Suddenly, everyone stopped to what they were doing when they heard knocking on the door. Who could that be? Kaminari asked after pausing the game. I don't think any of us are expecting someone, Sero said. Well, someone has to, Jiro said as she stopped listening to her music after hearing the knocking. Let me see who it is, Ada said as he stood up and went for the door with everyone looking towards it. The stern team then grabbed the doorknob, then turned it to open the door and was met by a pair of people outside. One of them is a young woman in her late teens, having green hair and eyes. The other is an androgynous teen with violet eyes, short white and violet hair with a large violet strand on top while shorter violet hair underneath the white. Can I help you? Ada asked as he was a bit confused along with everyone else, except for one. Oh hi, the green-haired woman introduced. So, you must be a student here, then you must know Izuku. Yes I am. Just who are you, miss, and what reason do you want with him? Ada politely asked. Oh, Megumi, but most people know me as Gumi. The now-named Gumi then introduced herself and the others realized who she was. Wait, you're Gumi. The one from Vocaloid. Jiro exclaimed in shock as everyone felt the same. They of course heard of Vocaloid. There is nothing so famous in Japan other than Heroes as Vocaloid itself, a singing company that started from a musical instrument manufacturer till they began to hire singers for a project that leads to the rise of Vocaloid. And standing before them is one of the greatest Vocaloid singers in the world. And the reason why I want to talk with him, Gumi then has a serious look on her face, because he is going to have a small talk with his older sister. Oh, older sister, Kaminari stutters in shock as everyone felt the same. This was new information for them, and they couldn't believe it. They looked to where Izuku once was and found him nowhere to be seen, so they look at Bakugo for answers. Hell, if I fucking know. I never saw her anywhere near Deku nor his mom in my fucking life. The blonde yelled at them as he was also surprised. Gumi just sighs, must have expected this, and said, just tell me where my brother could be. Probably in his room on the second floor, the second door to the right, Ada said as he was still a bit shaken by this. Thanks. Gumi then went towards the stairs with the other visitor following her. As they went up, everyone finally snapped out of their shock. Never knew Greenie would be related to a music star, Ashido said. No kidding. If I knew, I could have asked him to get me an autograph, Sero said. Same, Hagakure said in agreement. Bang, 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 Izuku-𝗵𝗵𝗲. Open this door this instant. They could hear Gumi screaming as they were a bit worried about their classmate. Bang, thud, ahhh. They knew whose scream was that as everyone scrambled to see what is going on. They went upstairs to see the other girl holding Izuku by the scruff of his collar, the green-haired teen having a nervous look on his face. Deku, what is going on? Uraraka shouted at her crush as he just gave them the same nervous look. So, you didn't tell them? Gumi asked. I didn't want the attention, he mumbled as she just let out a sigh. Let's talk about this downstairs. And you better tell everything, you damn nerd. Bakugo yelled. He promise. Izuku stutters as he and the rest then went downstairs and sat down. They were just there in an uncomfortable silence till one of them finally spoke up. So, your sister is Gumi, one of the most famous singers in the entire world? Jiro asked. Yeah, Izuku said and quickly looked down in embarrassment when he felt their stares. How come we never know this? Kirishima asked. Well, you never asked, he said as his classmates looked a bit sheepish. And I didn't want any of the attention with Gumi being my sister. So why haven't we seen her before? Ochako asked. I'm living near my place of work, so we mostly send each other texts, Gumi said. So, who is the other person you brought along? Shoto asked. Really? Gumi said to them with a raised eyebrow. Just take a good look and you can guess who she is. They blinked when they learned that the other visitor was a girl. Then they took a better look at her and realized who she was. "You're Flower," Kaminari exclaimed, completely shocked yet again. "Most people call me Flower, but my actual name is Hana Kaikane." The now-named Flower introduced in a monotone voice yet sounds slightly deep for a girl. "Dude, just how many people in Vocaloid do you know?" Zero asked the shy teen. "Almost all of them," he mumbles. "And some in 𝐂𝐴U and 𝐶𝐵," Gumi added. "So, have you gone out with one of them?" Denki asked as everyone looked at him. Kaminari, "That is just deplorable," Ida exclaimed as he chops the air. "And so stupid," Kyoka added, making the electric user flinch. "And who would even go out with the damn nerd?" Bakugo said. The class then saw Flower glaring at him as she moved closer to Izuku and put her hand on his. "Me," she simply said. 𝐻𝐻. This shocked the class even more, especially Ochako, who was staring at Flower in envy. Kaminari tried to reach out for Izuku, wanting to know how the green-haired teen get a hottie like Flower, but he was held back by Jiru and Tsuyu. "Midabro, tell me how you did it," he pleaded to Midoriya while being restrained by the two girls. Izuku could only look down out of embarrassment as his sister looked at this in amusement. "Well, I could tell how he did it," Gumi said as Izuku looked up in horror while Flower's eyes widened a little. "Gumi, no." He tried to stop her, but she managed to get away and hold him down. Izuku and Flower knew each other way back, but they never had the guts to confess with one another, Gumi said as both teens have blushes on their faces. It wasn't until 3 years ago that Izuku managed to get her heart by singing a serenade. The girls saw this as very romantic, but they and everyone else had one question in mind. "Midoriya can sing?" Todoroki asked. "Oh, he does. He's just shy about it," Gumi said. "There's no fucking way that this nerd knows how to fucking sing," Bakugo said as Gumi glares at him. "Oh, he knows, because I'm the one who taught him," Gumi said with a huff before looking at her brother then back to them. "And he can prove it." Izuku just continued to look down when their attention was on him again. "Can you Deku?" Ochako asked. "Come on bro, give us some beats," Kirishima said. "It would be magnifique," Aoyama said. Izuku seems to shrink from their demands as Gumi just rolled her eyes and puts a hand on her brother's shoulder. "Come on, you can do it. I didn't teach you what I knew back when we were kids for nothing," she said to him. "And they won't stop asking till you do. I really want to say that I hate you, but I can't," Izuku said as he was already flustered enough. Then he noticed Flower looking at him. "Can you please?" she asked as Izuku sighs in defeat. "Fine, anyone have a microphone?" he asked, and his sister then brought out a mic that she carries around in the handbag that she carries. He looks at her then to the mic on her hand before looking back at her. "Well, it wouldn't be a song without some beat, wouldn't it? So I can't play one." His sister then brought a speaker and a music player and placed it on the table. He looks at her then to the speaker on the table before looking back at her then sighs. He looks towards his classmates. Any requests? The rest of his class began to think of any song till one of them had one. "Memories, Maroon 5, Kyoka said as everyone looked at her. She had to look away to not show her blush. "Nice, a classic," Gumi said as she began to look up the song in her music player. She finds it and then looks at her brother before giving him a nod. The class then waited as the beat began to play and Izuku began to sing. The class then waited as the beat began to play. The soft melody could be heard as Izuku began to sing. "Here's to the ones that we got, cheers to the wish you were here. But you're not, cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through." His classmates were in now shock as they heard the voice of the Verdant hero while Gumi and Flower were just listening along. "Toast to the ones here today, toast to the ones that we lost on the way, cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember, when I did not know no pain, when I believed in forever, and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name, cause I can't reach out to call you. But I know I will one day. Yeah, everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Aye. But everything gon' be alright. Go and raise a glass and say, aye, here's to the ones that we got, cheers to the wish you were here. But you're not, cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way, cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you." Uraraka's heart began to beat loudly as there was a blush on her face as she continued to listen. Do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do, memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, when I felt all of the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feel like an ember and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you that you know I'll never drop. Yeah, everybody hurts sometimes. Everybody hurts someday. Aye, but everything gon' be alright. Go and raise a glass and say, aye, here's to the ones that we got, cheers to the wish you were here. But you're not, cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today, toast to the ones that we lost on the way, cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Do memories bring back you do memories bring back you yeah do memories bring back you. As soon as Izuku finished singing, there was only silence. He was a bit nervous till he received a standing ovation from his classmates. That was awesome, dude, Kirishima said. You have such a wonderful voice, Midoriya, Momo said, agreeing with the hardening user. Like seriously, why haven't you shown us this? Mina said. Izuku had to go below the table to avoid his classmates' stares out of embarrassment while his sister let out a giggle while Flower has her eyes closed but she has a small, amused smile on her face. Hey guys, Mineta then came down the stairs due to the commotion. What is going on? He then saw both Qiumi and Flower, his mind processing this, and suddenly got a certain glint in his eyes. The two noticed this and they glared at him. Flower then suddenly crossed her arms. Mineta had to hold his balls as he began to fall down the stairs, which resulted in him passing out on the floor. The other students had to look to what had just happened and saw a clenched fist on the spot on the floor where Mineta once was, and it began to disappear into disintegrating petals. What was that? Kyoka asked Izuku as he just let out a sigh. Her quirk, the flower, quirk, bloom. She can replicate every part of her body that would bloom on any surface and would follow her commands, but she needs a lot of control and stamina to maintain them for longer uses. I hate those type of guys, Flowers said with a huff. That is such an unacceptable use of a quirk if it is used for something like this, Ida said as he yet again chops the air to show his annoyance. Sorry, she really hates perverts, Izuku apologized. And that is a good reason, Juru said, defending the act, and none of the girls disagreed. So does this prove anything? Qiumi asked, trying to divert the conversation away from the unconscious pervert. Yeah, we are, and we want to hear more, Ashido said in excitement, and everyone except Bakugo and Mineta agreed, the former not wanting to admit it while the latter was still unconscious. Izuku seems to continue to shrink on his seat from his classmates pressuring him, and Qiumi saw this as the time to intervene. I think that's enough for him. We still have things to do, Qiumi said. Why are you even here? Her brother asked as she gave him a questioning look. Did you really forget Aunt Tatsumaki's birthday? She said as Izuku had a blank look on his face. Then it finally hit him, and he became more nervous. He immediately ran back to his room and quickly came out wearing more casual clothes, then ran back down to drag both his sister and Flower towards the door. Sorry guys, I'll come back soon, he shouted towards his classmates before exiting the place. They then heard a groan as everyone looked to see Mineta waking up. Where are they? Mineta yelled as everyone decided to ignore his ranting, mostly not getting an autograph and certain request. Let's just stop right there. Izuku is currently in his sister's car as he sits with her in the front while Flower sits in the back as she checks her phone. He was completely nervous with his body shaking in fear. Oh man, Aunt Tatsumaki will kill me, he mutters in fear as his sister heard this. Come on Zuku, chill out. Aunt Tatsumaki might get mad at you, but she wouldn't fault you for forgetting. You've had a lot on your plate when you first arrived in UA, so that is a good excuse, she assured him. Yeah, but I know that she isn't going to hold anything back to scold me, Izuku said as he has a solemn look on his face. Qiumi decided to keep quiet to give her brother some space, and it was an awkward ride for them. Trying to break this awkwardness, Flower reached out for the radio till it began to play a certain tune that the three knew. They smiled as they listened to the opening beat, and Izuku decided to sing along. Where there's a will, there's a way, kind of beautiful, and every night has its day, so magical, and if there's love in this life, there's no obstacle that can't be defeated. They continued to drive through the city as they listened to more songs on the radio. For every tyrant, a tear for the vulnerable, and every lost soul, the bones of a miracle for every dreamer, a dream, were unstoppable. With something to believe in, the three of them then began to chat as civilians passed by while the heroes patrol the area. Monday left me broken Tuesday. I was through with hoping Wednesday. My empty arms were open Thursday. Waiting for love, thank the stars. It's Friday, I'm burning like a fire gone wild on set. Guess I won't be coming to church on Sunday. I'll be waiting for love to come around. They were then out of the prefecture as they now took the road in another one. As Qiumi continues to drive, she couldn't help but smile as she sees Izuku talking with Flower, passing through wide clearings with small towns along the way. They would then jam out to more songs from the radio while both Izuku and Flower dance in their seats while Qiumi bops her head with the beat. We are one of a kind, irreplaceable. How did I get so blind and so cynical? If there's love in this life, we're unstoppable. No, we can't be defeated. Monday left me broken Tuesday. I was through with hoping Wednesday. My empty arms were open Thursday. Waiting for love, thank the stars. It's Friday, I'm burning like a fire gone wild on set. Guess I won't be coming to church on Sunday. I'll be waiting for love to come around. Qiumi then turned off the radio and said, I think that's enough. We are getting close to Aunt Tatsumaki's place. Still can't believe that Aunt Fubuki married someone who has the same name as the city, Izuku added as his sister giggled a bit. Yeah, but he is still a great part of the family. Unlike him, 𝗵𝗲 said with a bit of venom at the end which made his brother worry for her. It's been years now. You should have moved on by now, he said as his sister let out a sigh. I really can't help it. It still pisses me off so much, she said as they now enter the city. Others will also be there, Flower said, wanting to change the subject of the conversation from escalating. Deciding to change it as well, Izuku said. The others? You mean the rest of squad? Yeah, but I think 𝗵𝗃𝗧 just wants to be there for the free food, she said. Both green-haired teens laugh a bit from this. How's Pico doing? Still living with his sister? Izuku asked. Yeah, he was still depressed about his contract being cancelled, but he did move on a bit from it. It's not that bad. At least he wasn't cancelled after hiring. There were some who got hired, but their contracts between Vocaloid and their companies were terminated for multiple reasons, 𝗵𝗲 said with a frown on her face. It's really a shame. We would have liked to actually work with them. That's the music industry for you, Flower said. Okay, let's change the subject before we continue to bash the music industry, Izuku said, not wanting to hear a full rant about it. Yeah, you're right. Plus, we are here now actually, 𝗵𝗲 said as she then went to park her car somewhere close to their destination. They then get out as they now face a large apartment building. So here we are. Good thing Mom told me to get you before she left, 𝗵𝗲 said as she had a smile on her face when she saw the embarrassed look on his brother's face. Let's just go in, he said as the three of them then entered the place. To no more back in Class 1A's dormitory. Everyone was still in a state of shock after the reveal hours ago. Some went to see what's on TV to get their minds of it, some went to their rooms, while those who remained tried to relax by eating some snacks. Mina was stomping her feet, her mind filled with many questions that needed to be answered, and she wanted them badly. But she's not the only one, while the others weren't bothered by it. You could clearly see how it still affects them and wanted to know more. Some tried to suppress them, but others aren't so patient as them. Okay, that's it, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 yelled, still outraged that Izuku is still having something that he doesn't know. I'm going to find that fucking nerd and get those answers fucking out of him. 𝗵𝗃𝗀, no. You shouldn't resort to violence. Midoriya promised that he will tell us, but he is currently having a situation with his family, and we need to respect that, Ada said as he tries to stop the blonde to do something that would drastically escalate. But how long do we have to wait? Mina whines as she can't stop thinking about it. The possibilities were so many. We still need to respect his privacy. He will tell us when he wants to, Momo said, just wanting to divert her thoughts away from the subject. Might I add that Midoriya also has a girlfriend, Minda said ever since he got informed of what happened. Tsuyu just hits him with her long tongue, making the midget fall over from his seat. That is not important, Jiru said, quite angered with the pervert. Still, Midoriya has a girlfriend. How did they actually meet? Denki asked as the others thought about it as well. Still, we must wait for him to come back, Ada said. Fuck this shit. I'm going to check his room. 𝗵𝗃𝗀 then marched upstairs to check Izuku's room. 𝗵𝗃𝗀, stop this at once. Ada quickly followed before the blonde could do anything. The others quickly follow to help while some just want to see what will happen next. There they saw Tenya holding 𝗵𝗃𝗀 back from their classmates' dorm room as the blonde tries to escape from their class president's hold. Let go of me, 4 eyes, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 yelled. I shall not let you desecrate Midoriya's room. Fuck off. The blonde then managed to get off the strict teen by releasing a small explosion from his hands that made Tenya flinch. 𝗵𝗃𝗀 then used a bit stronger explosion to forcefully open the door to Izuku's room. There they saw inside were Izuku's memorabilia of their teacher and #1 hero, All Might. Almost every spot has figurines of the hero along with some posters of the hero. 𝗵𝗃𝗀 then began to look around his room, messing up some of the owner's room a bit while the others tried to fix it. 𝗵𝗃𝗀, stop throwing Midoriya's stuff on the ground. It's unruly, Momo yelled at the blonde as she, Tenya, Todoroki, Ochako, and Tsuyu cleaning up the mess while the others look from outside. I don't fucking care till I find some fucking answers, the blonde yelled as he then looked under Izuku's bed before dragging out a box and looked inside. As he tosses away things from the box, Ochako would pick them up till she saw something interesting. It was a small picture and she picked it up. It was a picture of both 𝗵𝗲 and Izuku when they were children. 𝗵𝗲 was singing while using a spatula as a mic while Izuku looked at her in amazement. Oh, that's adorable, she thought with a smile as she then set it down to continue picking up the rest of her crush's stuff. After finishing with one box, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 grabbed another one under the bed and saw that it was filled with CDs. He looked at one of them and saw what was taped on it. Finally, he yelled as he put back the CD and carried the entire box. What did you find? Mina said in anticipation as the others from outside also felt the same. 𝗵𝗃𝗀, put that down now, Ada yelled at the blonde as Katsuki just sneers. If that fucking nerd can't tell me now, then I'll look for them myself. But think of the consequences. What will you think will happen if anyone knows what you did? Well, might as well get this fucking over with and move on. Bakugo then pushed Ida away and went downstairs with everyone else following him. Katsuki then walks over to the television and grabbed the CD player nearby. He connects it to the TV and went through the box. Whoa, never knew you could use this old thing, Kirishima said as he looked at the CD player. Of course, I fucking know, shitty hair. The blonde yelled as he continues to look through the box. Come on, what's in it? Mina then took a peek in the box to see more CDs with labels. Are those songs? Denki asked Zero to even pick one up. Not only songs, but I also think some of them are just short videos, the tape user said as he looked at one of them. They have covers like Phoenix by Fall Out Boys, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, and even those promotional songs for those famous games. Sweet, there are even songs here from other countries. Even Toru joined in as she checked some CDs. Stop this, all of you, Ida tried to convince them, but they were so engrossed in the contents of the box that they ignored him. Todoroki then placed a hand on Tenya's shoulder and said, they will not listen to you at this point. Tenya just slumps down as he could only feel shame of not stopping this sooner due to his own hesitation and curiosity. What do we pick? What do we pick? Mina bounced in excitement as half of the class were now into this. Achoo. Izuku suddenly sneezed as he was currently playing on a console in the apartment's living room till his nose reacted. Dude, why did you sneeze? The other person sitting beside him said. It was a redhead boy that looked very deformed on his left side, while he retained his bright red hair and red skin. His left side looked very burnt around his bright red eye, around his mouth, on his neck, and to the rest of his body, while his right side looked very fine with no sign of any burns and retains his black eye. He wears a white shirt over a white long-sleeved Velcro coat that is very wrinkled on the left side to enhance the deformity he is so proud of, along with a red pocket with a black X on it, a red bow around his neck, a red rectangular cloth that is attached on both sides of his shoulder by ragged stitches as it has black tiger stripe patterns and a black 4 on the middle of the cloth, and a straight 16-pronged pattern on the center front of the center. Under the coat and below his shirt is a red skirt that is slightly shown due to the bottom of the right side of the coat being pinned on his waist, a pair of black slacks, a pair of white shoes with high red collars. On each shoe is a red X on the laces and red soles. For accessories, he has a red, black, and white top hat with a rabbit muzzle and large rabbit eyes. His right wrist has a red folded bracelet-like sleeve while his left arm is covered in bandages, a small black flag with a white X clipped on his hair, and a red X mark on the bridge of his nose. No idea. I think someone is talking about me, Izuku said as he ran his nose. It might be something less important. Anyways, fatality. The redhead cheered as Izuku looked at the screen, and he indeed did a fatality as they were playing Mortal Kombat 11. Again, Izuku said in disappointment as he then looked towards his playmate. You took advantage of me sneezing. You snooze, you lose, Greenie. The redhead taunts him till something hits him on the head and he reaches out it. Oh fuck. Izuku looked behind him to see for a bunch of pink petals disappearing in the air. Fuck. Flower, do you really need to hit me that hard? The redhead yelled towards the kitchen as Flower peeked out to look at them. You deserve much more, 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏, especially with all of the shenanigans that you have done ever since you joined, she said as she went back to the kitchen. The now named 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏 just grumbles. He then looks at Izuku and said, Flower is just harsh. I don't know. I heard from everyone how you are pretty much a menace in the HQ, Izuku said as 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏 just scoffed. They are just killjoys, especially Flower. Why did you even date her? He asked, but not in a malicious way. Rather, he said it jokingly. Izuku just smiled and shrugs, then said, I guess I'm just that lucky. 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏 then smirks and said, then you are even luckier having more girls with you. Izuku just looked embarrassed as he looked away while 𝗧𝗃𝗧𝗏 laughed. Back in UA, everyone has decided to do this equally, so they put the box on the coffee table and they will randomly take turns choosing one. Now it's Kirishima's turn. Alright, let's see here, he said as he looked through the box till he finds something that catches his interest. Undefeatable by Sega. I think I remembered that song. I think they used it in that Sonic game, Denki said. Play it, Mina said to Kirishima in excitement. Ijiro just smiled and said, alright, I'm putting it in. The redhead then put the CD in the player as he went back to sit with the rest while Ochako pressed play on the remote. Then showed in the TV as Izuku and alongside him were Flower and people that they don't know yet. I'm hanging on to the other side, I won't give up till the end of me go. They were now in awe as they heard Izuku's voice while the people around him played their instruments amazingly. Welcome to the mind of a different kind where we've been growing slowly. Think I'm on 11 but I'm on a 9. Guess you don't really know me. Running from the past is a losing game, it never brings you glory. Been down this road before, already know this story. It's time to face your fears, cause when your time has come and gone I'll be the one to carry on, and you can throw me to the wolves cause I am undefeatable. I'm hanging on to the other side, I won't give up till the end of me. I'm what you get when the stars collide. Now face it, you're just an enemy. You're crossing the line now, we've run out of time, I'll take what is mine, and when the story ends it becomes a part of me. I'll give you what it takes, I'll find another way. I used to never know, but now it's crystal clear, this feeling's just a ghost. It's time to face your fears, cause when your time has come and gone I'll be the one to carry on. And you can throw me to the wolves, cause I am undefeatable. I'm hanging on to the other side, I won't give up till the end of me. I'm what you get when the stars collide, now face it. You're just an enemy. I'm hanging on to the other side, I won't give up till the end of me. I'm what you get when the stars collide, now face it. You're just an enemy. Welcome to the mind of a different kind, where we've been growing slowly. Think I'm on an 11. But I'm on a 9. Guess you don't really know me. Running from the past is a losing game. It never brings you glory. Been down this road before, already know this story. The video then ends as everyone begins to talk to each other. Man, that was awesome. Midoriya wasn't kidding, Denki said. Who, the brother or the sister? Todoroki asked. Of course, I meant the sister. She's the one who taught him, so she deserves a compliment for this, the blonde said. He is right about that, Zero said. All right, it's my turn. Mina then dived for the box and began to check inside it. Man, after hearing that, I want to listen to more of them, Kirishima said. Midoriya does have a great voice, Todoroki said. He sounds like an angel, Hagakure added. But that high tempo was just dope, Kyoka said. I got one. Mina cheers as she holds up one of the CDs and reads what is written on it. Hibike's X Echo. I still remembered them playing this on stage. Tora squeals when she hears this and says, both Gyumi and Miku's duet was so beautiful. Put it in. Nina quickly took out the previous CD and put on the next one. She then joined back with the rest and pressed play. On the TV, a really close recording of a dark and empty stage. Most of the class were giddy when they saw this because they knew what's to come. A smooth retro beat then began to play as the tempo began to rise and a female voice is heard as it began to sing. Mayonaka night sugu odo no keikoku kaiuiwan na yugozen rieji anata ga furu hikari masu netsu. Yubasaki nai odorasa kinkaku soku taken neshizumaru yoru futari dake no mitsu. A countdown appeared on stage as it starts at 10 before going down. Taken soku kaiken kasanaru hake nai muryu seridaku. As it reached 1, a girl with teal hair and eyes then appeared on stage, behind another screen as the tempo continued to rise. Wasaranade ni watashi no ko wo gamen koshi de tu chanto ashite 𝐴𝐴𝐶HARU dat tsukahanasen hidanata no odo nai mata operated I abodite ni watashi no ko wo anata ga kurita kono mai 𝐒𝐵𝐻𝐻𝐵. The girl then zooms out as she picks up a hammer on the ground. Mitsumo anata to futari. She then began to smash the partition between her and the audience as cracks began to form. Kasaneta iki to odo to 𝐒𝐵𝐵𝐼KASE. She finally smashed the divider between her and the crowd as she stumbles a bit. The beat continues to play in the background as she recovers. She then dropped the hammer and crouched down before leaping forward, landing on stage with slam, and continued to sing while adding some moves in it. Mayonaka nai tu hikita netsu machet sudzuketeru gozen rieji kagami atsushi nai hawa shite ikushura nai odo ga tsudao kenkaku soku taken neshizumaru yoru to ikidzukai soru taken soku kaiken. Savita rojikku amakito wo kagaru wasaranade ni watashi no ko wo jiken mo kote tabasu shigunaruvaacharu don nant huanade anata no odo nai mata asaritad I abodite ni watashi no ko wo anata ga kurita kono ma subit wo koto no hata hatsu no ni ga majawaru kono iki to odo to 𝐻𝐵𝐼KASE. A poll then appeared before her as some viewers felt quite steamy watching this. Anata no anda odo nai tata koi wo shite ita no kanashimi akori kanshin subita chinarasu. Gyumi then appeared on the screen as she also began to sing as well. Into an ugly black, I'm gonna run away now and never look back. I'm gonna burn my house down. Into an ugly black X2, I'm gonna run away now. I'm gonna burn my house down. Into an ugly black X2, I'm gonna run away now. I'm gonna burn my house down. Then picked up the hammer from before and hits the partitions once before dropping it and resorting to instead kicking it as hard as she can. Into an ugly black X5 she then smashes through, stumbling along, then jumps off. Muryu Seridaku. Gyumi then lands in a kneeling position as the girl with her jumped and she looks like she was suspended in the air. Wasaranade ni watashi no kowo. The girl then landed on the ground as she and Gyumi began to dance in perfect sync. Gamen koshi de tu chanto ashite 𝐴𝐴𝐶HARU dat tsukahanasen anata no odo nai mata operated I abodite ni watashi no ko wo anata ga kurita kono mai 𝐒𝐵𝐻𝐻 wo mitsumo anata to futari kasaneta iki to odo wo hibike's. The trembling fear is more than I can take. When I'm up against the echo in the mirror, the trembling fear is more than I can take. When I'm up against the echo in the mirror, OTOHIBIKASE. The two continued to dance till they had to stop in a pose for a cheering crowd. A small tune then heard as the two looks at the screen behind them and was quickly taken aback when it was kicked through by a pair of blondes of the opposite genders. As the next song was about to begin, the camera began to move away from the stage as it follows Gyumi in the back with the next song playing in the background. The one holding the camera began to walk to the back of the stage while the watchers could hear running behind them. They soon reached the back and the ones watching were met with a surprise. Both Qiumi and the girl were hugging each other out of pure joy as they spun around in excitement till they noticed the camera pointing at them. They have blushes on their faces as people behind the camera began to snicker while they were chanting to them to just kiss. "Izuku, turn that off." Qiumi yelled, completely embarrassed as she ran up to the camera, but the holder, Izuku, quickly ran off with short glimpses of other people with him, laughing as the video then ended. "Huh, do you think that they are a thing?" 𝗧𝗪 asked. "I don't know. Vocaloid mostly keeps it to themselves. No one really knows what's happening in the back alongside 𝗬𝗧 and 𝗂𝗏. But I guess Izuku has some because of his connections with his sister," Momo said as everyone agreed with her. "Those three companies always keep things confidential for their singers. No one really knows who they really are except for some confirmations to the singers themselves. But all of their relationships are hidden away, and people only speculate. And we looked over them," Sato said as everyone winced. "So do we stop?" Shoji asked. "Maybe we should avoid live songs for a while till they open up to us," Kyoka said. "No, we must stop immediately," Tenya yelled at everyone. "But we want to hear more." Both Mina and Toru whined. "Yeah, we could still watch the ones they made for promotional videos or those that they personally cover," Kirishima said. Qiumi was open to admitting that Midoriya was her brother, so maybe she must really trust us to keep this a secret, Kyoka said. Maybe we can even find some 𝗬𝗧 covers. I do love those made with 𝗵𝗃𝗧 said as Ida looked at her, feeling betrayed that the other reasonable voice in the class got sucked into this. Ida just sat back down, defeated, as Todoroki pat his back for comfort. As he does so, the rest continue to talk about the multiple possibilities in the box, then the questions that they needed answers for when their green-haired classmate comes back. They just have to wait and see. Track 1 with Izuku. The apartment was now filling up with people as they talk and play with each other, but since he was in a very sticky situation, and it takes the form of a petite woman with a short stature. She has an adolescent face with emerald green eyes, and green hair that naturally curls up on the ends. She wears a form-fitting black dress with long sleeves, and 4 high-cut leg slits that show off her shapely long legs and low-heeled black shoes. Auntie, don't auntie me. This is the 3rd time that you almost forgot my birthday. 3rd, I know that you are having some tough times in Yua, but that's not an excuse to forget your own aunt's birthday. I'm sorry." Watching this from with a pair of sunken blue eyes is a tall skinny man with blonde hair. This is Tashinori Yagi aka All Might, former #1 hero. Alongside him is a plump woman with the same hair and eye color as Izuku but slightly darker. This is Inko Midoriya, Izuku's mother. "Who knew the terrible tornado can be this petty?" All Might said as Inko giggles a bit. All Might is one of the many people who knew more of the Midoriyas and those close to them due to him having to be there for his successor. He was quite surprised to know who they are, but he was happy that there were much more people that has Izuku's back. "Tatsumaki can be a bit hot-headed, but she's still my older sister," Inko said. Despite how short she is, he whispered to her as Inko has to stop herself from laughing. "Yo, Pico." They then heard Fuke shouting. He was by the door as he opened it to reveal 4 people outside. The first one is an androgynous boy. He looked really lean and a feminine face, as a trap should. He has short white hair with a P-shaped ahoge and black nail polish. He has heterochromia. His right eye is green while his left eye is blue. He wears a white, sleeveless futuristic dress that reaches his thighs, and it also has a conical high collar, a pair of black slacks with teal digital design, a pair of white shoes with collars that reaches his knees, a pair of long detached sleeves, and a large decorative plug that is attached to his dress like a tail. The second is a young woman with long red hair with a sickle-shaped ahoge and bright red eyes. She wears an extravagant, white, sleeveless dress with a high collar, a 2-tier, star-shaped miniskirt with the bottom tier being more transparent, a pair of large star ornaments on her hips, and 2 diamond-shaped, vertically aligned openings on the chest that exposed a little bit of her bust. She also wore a white long-sleeved bolero jacket over the dress with a hoodie, a pair of black stars on the base of the hood, a black interior, and the sleeves also doubling as fingerless gloves while actual black gloves are worn underneath the sleeves. Then a pair of white high-heel boots that reaches her knees with a black back quarter, a pair white stars on the openings of the boots, and holographic on the side of the heel counter. The third is a young man with short black hair and black eyes. He wears a black hoodie under a red, white, and blue checkered sweater, and under that is a white polo shirt. He also wears a pair of gray pants that is being held by a belt with a steel buckle and a pair of brown boots. Additionally, he wears a pair of glasses and a pair of blue headphones. Lastly, the fourth is a little girl with short gray hair and small pigtails with 2 yellow beads binding her ear and yellow eyes that is close to gold. She wore a one-piece pinkish-red dress, coat over the white frilly uniform buttoned in golden buttons with a checkered cravat securing the neck collar. The ends of the dress adorned with checkered frills of red and green, white lines outlining the sleeves and white frills in the lowermost part of the dress just above her bare knee. The same design tightening around her wrists, acting like a bracelet, was a cloth secured in a pink ribbon. Pure white knee-highs, sewed in red threads with ribbons on the outermost sides, hugged her lower legs down to her feet, where clear, reddish-brown school shoes fitted. The same checkered pattern in a form of a ribbon topped the shoes. On her back is a pink 𝗵𝗲𝗧𝗏, firm-sided, leather backpack, completing the outfit of the elementary school girl. "What's up, fuck-ass?" the androgynous boy said as 𝗵𝗃𝗧 glared at him. He snickers, but the older girl hits him on the head. "Hiko, stop using curse words around Yuki. She already knows enough. We don't want her to learn more," she said as she looked to see the older man covering the little girl's ears. The now-named Pico just rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and said, "Sorry, sorry." Izuku then used this as a distraction to meet with the four. "Hey, Pico, Mickey, Kyotrue. Izu Nai." The little girl called to him with a smile as he gladly returned it. "Hello to you too, Yuki," he said as he kneeled down and gave her a head pat. "How's your studies going?" "Her studies doing great and she's one of the top students," the older male said. "You are a great teacher after all." The redhead complimented him as he has a small blush on his face while the little girl nods. "Hiyama-sensei have taught me multiplication," the little girl said. "That's good. You better keep up with your studies, Yuki," Izuku said as the nob-named Yuki nods. "Good. Go to the room on the right. Yuri and the others are playing there." "Thanks, Izu Nai." Yuki then gave her bag to her teacher and ran off to join the other children. The 5 remaining people then walked towards the living room and sits along with the others who were having their own conversation. "Man, there are a lot of people here," Pico commented. "Well, it's mostly the people who worked with my aunts, close friends, and you guys," Izuku said. "It is a really big change to open up to someone out of the headquarters. It's getting really boring being famous. At least those who were less known have a proper life since no one is hounding them. Like seriously, I had to wear a large coat and a hat just to get here," 𝗵𝗃𝗧 said as slumped on the chair. Then the hat got blown away and cameras were instantly out. "If it wasn't for Mayu being there, I could have been trapped for countless interviews." "Speaking of Mayu, how's your relationship with her?" Mickey asked. "We had a rough start, but we actually made some progress," the redhead boy said as he let out a sigh of relief. "Despite being too clingy, I don't really mind and I only have my eyes on her. I just hope that she stops attacking any girl that I just want to be friends with." "At least she offered her heart to you and not break it," Pico said. "Hey, I'm not that stupid," 𝗵𝗃𝗧 retorted. "But you were stupid enough to cause havoc in HQ and get punished for them," Mickey reminded him. "They weren't that bad. We had to separate you from Flower because she wants to pummel you when you were focusing on a video of you showcasing the bike you bought and ran her foot as she walked out of her room," Kyotrue said. "I apologized. You gave Oliver a real tarantula after the actual tarantula song and told him that it was chocolate. He cried a lot that night," Pico said. "I apologized to him as well and bought him his favorite snack. Most of the building had to be rebuilt because you somehow got the keys to the Twins Road Roller. It costed a lot," Izuku said. "Okay, that I understand. But I can't really reject the idea of riding one. Yet you still rode it without even knowing how to drive one. Good thing that it was all covered up and everyone thought that it was a gas leak," Mickey said. "You did much more, but you can guess that some of them were minor but most are not tolerable," Kyotrue said. "Even in one of your mishaps, we had to get your aunt so she could get you in line." 𝗵𝗃𝗧 just groaned while Izuku let out an awkward chuckle. "Speaking of the HQ, how are the others from UTAU and 𝗬𝗏?" the Greenite asked. "They are doing fine. A little mishap here and there," Mickey said. "I still find it out amusing that Tito still keeps saying that she was a teenager when we really know how old she is," Pico said as his sister hit him hard on his shoulder. "Oh, watch it. You might have broken my shoulder." "Ben, don't talk about a woman's age," she said as she then flicked him on the forehead. The 3 men then laugh at the siblings' squabble. Watching this from a distance, Tatsumaki huffs while 𝗏𝐻 giggles and All Might just has an amused smile. "That brat, I wasn't done with him yet," the Greenite's aunt said as her sister stopped giggling. "Tatsu, you know how things have been in his school. Just take it easy on him already," 𝗏𝐻 said. "Well, he better not forget my birthday next year and he better get me something for it as well." As the 2 sisters talk, Toshinori just watched on, finding the antics of his students' family and friends very entertaining. "Is Nezu rubbing on him? He better check just to be sure." Back in UA, it was now Achako's turn as she looked through the box for any songs, ignoring those that weren't. "Maybe some other time." "Come on, Chaco. I can't wait," Mina said, bouncing in excitement. "I'm looking," the zero-gravity user said as she just grabbed a random one. She looked at the title and lets out a hum. "One Call Away" by Charlie Puth. "OMG. I remember that song. I think they still play today on YouTube. It was so beautiful," 𝗂𝗃𝗧 said as she sways a bit in joy. Put it in. Put it in." Mina could barely contain her excitement. All right, Uraraka then puts in the CD and pressed play. On screen, Izuku is seen sitting in front of a pyank on a middle of a ballroom wearing the suit he wore in 𝐼-Island. "Oh, so that's what he wore in 𝐼-Island," Mina said to Ejiro. "Yeah, but I think that this is before that." He destroyed it during the fight, the redhead said. A shame really. Whoever made it did a very great job, Momo commented. Meanwhile, Ochako let out a sigh as she looked at the suit that Izuku was wearing. It really looked great to him. On screen, Izuku began to play the piano for a bit before playing 3 actual songs. I'm only one call away, I'll be there to save the day, Superman got nothing on me, I'm only one call away. Some of the girls looked very giddy while Mina playfully taps Uraraka with her elbow, making the brunette lightly blush. Call me, baby, if you need a friend, I just want to give you love, come on, come on, come on, reaching out to you, so take a chance no matter where you go, no you're not alone. Izuku then stood up as he continues to sing while a young man with black hair with a single strand of pink took over playing the piano. I'm only one call away, I'll be there to save the day, Superman got nothing on me, I'm only one call away, come along with me and don't be scared, I just want to set you free, come on. Come on, come on. Then out of the corner of screen, a young blonde girl in a yellow dress walked over to him as everyone immediately recognized her. You and me can make it up. Anyway, for now, we can stay here for a while cause you know, I just want to see your smile no matter where you go, no you're not alone. The two then hold each other's hands as they began to dance. I'm only one call away, I'll be there to save the day, Superman got nothing on me, I'm only one call away, when you're weak I'll be strong, I'm gonna keep holding on now, don't you worry. It won't be long, darling. If you feel like hope is gone, just run into my arms. The two then began to slowly sway with the beat, hands interlocked as they gaze at each other's eyes. I'm only one call away, I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me, I'm only one call away, I'm only one call away, I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me, I'm only one call away, I'm only one call away. The video then ended as everyone were quiet a bit till Kaminari stood up and pointed at the screen. Wasn't that Kagami Rin? The blonde yelled out in shock. We can see that you rip off Pikachu. Bakugo yelled at him in annoyance. But what was that? Did they have a relationship or something? Zero asked. Maybe they broke up and he now has flower, Kyoka said. That's a possibility, or he is in relationship with both, Momo said as everyone looked at her, shocked. How did you get into that conclusion? It sounds weird, Kirishima said. And wrong. It is illegal here in Japan to practice polygamy, Ada pointed out. Not really, Momo said. What do you mean? Kyoka asked as she and everyone else were now confused. It was illegal, but the rise of quirks also brought quirks that can affect the person's or their target's affection, Momo said with a straight face. Polygamy is legal, but there are clauses that would prevent abuse and anything malicious. So it is possible for him to practice it as long that they won't go over the line or they would be imprisoned by the law. So anyone can have a harem? Denki asked. Yes, as long agreed in this type of relationship, agreed to it and can't be forcefully joined. That's one of the clauses. So people with mind control might be suspected unless they prove that they didn't use it. If not, then they have to be sent away in prison for a very long time or pay a very large fine. Well, you heard her, so don't even try it, 𝗵𝗲𝐴, Kyoka warned the electrification user as he looked down, depressed. You still use that damn nickname. Denki whined. It was so degrading. You too, 𝗵𝗲𝗄. I know that you are thinking about it as well. She then shouted at 𝗵𝗲𝗄, clearly knowing what he was thinking along with everybody else. Hey, anybody can dream. 𝗵𝗲𝗄 retorted. Yeah, and the chance for that dream to become reality is 0. 𝗵𝗲𝗄 then joined Kaminari with sulking. Okay, my turn then, Zero said as he went to the box and began looking through it till he immediately got one with a smile on his face. Sweet, counting stars by 𝗏𝗏. This is a good one. Put it in then, Mina said as he chuckles. Hanta then put the CD in the player, then pressed play. On screen, Izuku and Flower are yet again shown with the same two people, the class recognizing one of them as the black-haired kid from the last video. Soon, they began to play and Izuku began to sing. Lately, I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things that we could be, but baby, I've been praying hard, said. No more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, we'll be counting stars. I see this life like a swinging vine, swing my heart across the line, and in my face is flashing signs, seek it out and ye shall find old. But I'm not that old, young. But I'm not that bold, and I don't think the world is sold on just doing what we're told. I feel something so right doing the wrong thing, and I feel something so wrong doing the right thing. I couldn't lie. Everything that kills me makes me feel alive lately. I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things that we could be, but baby, I've been praying hard, said. No more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars lately. I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things we could be, but baby, I've been praying hard, say. No more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, I feel your love, and I feel it burn down this river every turn. Hope is our 4-letter word, make that money, watch it burn old. But I'm not that old, young. But I'm not that bold, and I don't think the world is sold on just doing what we're told, and I feel something so wrong doing the right thing. I couldn't lie. Everything that drowns me makes me want to fly lately. I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things that we could be, but baby, I've been praying hard, said. No more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars lately. I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things that we could be, but baby, I've been I've been praying hard said. No more counting dollars. We'll be counting stars. Oh, take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned. Everything that kills me makes me feel alive lately. I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things that we could be, but baby, I've been praying hard said. No more counting dollars. We'll be counting stars lately. I've been losing sleep dreaming about the things that we could be, but baby, I've been praying hard said. No more counting dollars. We'll be counting stars take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned take that money. Watch it burn sink in the river the lessons I've learned. The four then did their pose, ending the video. Some of the class began to give out a round of applause as soon it finishes. Still a stunning performance, Momo commented. So who's next? Kyoka asked. Everyone look at each other till 𝗧𝗪 picked up the box and puts it on Todoroki's lap. The bicolor teen looked quite surprised, not knowing what to do. Well, look around and pick one, Toru said as Shoto looked at her then back to the box. The half-hot half-cold user then rummaged through the box, looking at each CD in it till he finally got something that interested him. He picked it up and looked at it. He hums a bit before placing the CD in the player. What did you pick? Ochako asked. Why do I buy set it off? It has Hatsune Miku in it, Todoroki said as he hit play. On the screen, it then showed the teal-haired girl from before. Since she currently idle, they could see what she looks like. Her outfit consists of a collared gray shirt with a small teal frill around the hem. She also has a teal-colored tie, matching her eyes and hair. Along with that, she also has a short black skirt with a teal part at the bottom all around, a pair of futuristic ribbons that somehow floats around the base of her twin tails, a pair of detached sleeves that resembles synthesizers, black stockings, and a pair of black shoes with teal soles. Along with her is Izuku, who has a guitar, while Flower has a bass guitar. The two other with them has a guitar and a drum. Along with them, another person is with them, a young man. The young man has dirty blonde hair and green eyes. He wears a white t-shirt under a jean jacket, a pair of blue jeans and a pair of orange sneakers. The song began to play as the melody could be heard and the two began to sing. Sometimes I write you letters that you'll never read when I get to drinking. I get to thinking I wish you were thinking about me. Sometimes I look for girls that look the way you do, so fucking stupid. Started to do it when I saw you with someone new. It's been 10 months and 20 days. And the last thing that's on your brain, so why do I still wake up? 2 in the morning, cold sweat, screaming your name. Why do I get drunk and look at your pictures? Why do I feel this way? Why do I do this to myself? And why do I even try? You don't so baby. Why do I? Some nights, I think about the last time that we talked. Back in November, maybe December. All I remember is that you called me a piece of shit, said you never want to see my face again, you regret everything we ever did, you're obviously over it. So why do I still wake up? 2 in the morning, cold sweat, screaming your name. Why do I get drunk and look at your pictures? Why do I feel this way? Why do I do this to myself? And why do I even try? You don't so baby. Why do I? It's been 10 months and 20 days I've been wondering the same damn things, so why do I still wake up? 2 in the morning, cold sweat, screaming your name. Why do I get drunk and look at your pictures? Why do I feel this way? Why do I do this to myself? And why do I even try? You don't so baby. Why do I? Why do I? Why do I? So baby, why do I? Why do I? Why do I? So baby, why do I? Miku and the guy gave each other a high five as the others gathered around them before facing the camera. They did their pose and the video ended. The class were yet again impressed. While Bakugo is still mad at the Verdant hero, he began to admit that Deku is a good singer. Along with Izuku, the others were wondering who are the rest in the video. Most of all, in Denki and Minta's mind, does he have a harem? Back in the Class 1A's dormitory living room, most of the students were still sitting by the television with Izuku's box. Alright, who's next? Denki asked. How about our class president? 𝗧𝗪 said as everyone looked at Tenya. Come on dude, just one. Yeah, there might be one that you might like. We'll let you do this once. Come on, pick one. His classmates then began to pressure him till he finally relents. Fine, but just this once only, Ida said as he then grabbed the box and began to look through it. Some of his classmates looked as if they won, but he added, since you forced me, then it's a proper punishment that you will clean the dishes for 2 weeks. Those who pressured him, Denki, Mina, Kirishima, and Toru, were now stiffed in fear. The first 3 paled while Toru was shivering in fear. Tenya then continued to look through the box till he found a CD that interested him. Enemy by Imagine Dragons, he mutters as he then put the CD in the player and pressed play. Then appearing on screen is Izuku and his friends. Izuku was holding a mic while one of his friend, a young man with black hair and a red cap, stands beside him while the others are in the background with their instruments. I wake up to the sounds of the silence that allows for my mind to run around with my ear up to the ground. I'm searching to behold the stories that are told when my back is to the world that was smiling when I turn. Tell you you're the greatest, but once you turn they hate us. The misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy, but I'm ready. Your words up on the wall as you're praying for my fall, and the laughter in the halls, and the names that I've been called. I stack it in my mind, and I'm waiting for the time when I show you what it's like to be words spit in a mic. Tell you you're the greatest, but once you turn they hate us. The misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Look, okay. I'm hoping that somebody pray for me. I'm praying that somebody hope for me. I'm staying where nobody posed to be. PP posted. Being a wreck of emotions, ready to go whenever. Just let me know the road is long. So put the pedal into the floor. The enemy on my trail. My energy unavailable. I'm at 𝐿𝐴. They want to plot on my trot to the top. I've been out of shape. Thinking out the box. I'm an astronaut. I blasted off the planet rock to cause catastrophe. And it matters more because I had it not had I thought about wreaking havoc on an opposition. Kinda shocking. They wanted static with precision. I'm automatic quarterback. I ain't talking sacking. Pack it up. I don't panic. Batter up. Who the baddest? It don't matter cause we at your throat. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. The misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Pray it away. I swear I'll never be a saint. No way my enemy. Pray it away. I swear I'll never be a saint. They then did their pose as the video ended. The class then let out a small round of applause as Sue grabbed the box to pick the next song. While she does so, the others took a break. Ochako is poking on the leftover lasagna that she got for herself with a down look on her face as she let out a sigh. Anything wrong, Uraraka? Momo asked. Well, I think it's about Greenie already having someone or two. Mina in a teasing manner as Ochako blushes red. Are you jealous? Kyoka asked Ochako as she began to stammer. It's kinda obvious, Uraraka, Sue said as she was still looking through the box. The zero-gravity user deflates a bit. It's just, how can I respond to this? She asked. Well, if Greenie comes back then talk with him, Mina said. But, I haven't told him about feelings yet, Uraraka said. Then woman up and tell him Izuku I love you. Mina said as she just couldn't help herself. She won't just be able to see of her favorite ships ever since the beginning of their school life here in UA, but also help her friend overcome this. Ochako then looked like she regained her vigor and said, You're right. I'll tell him when he gets back. Then she feel down again. But what if he didn't accept it? This is Midoriya that we are talking. He wouldn't just break someone's on purpose, Ashido assured her. She then moved closer. And I bet that Flower won't mind if she hears your reason along with Rin if Momo is right. I don't think so, she said with less confidence. All right, got one, Sue said as everyone went back to their seats. Sue then placed the CD in the player and grabbed the remote. What did you pick? Toru asked. Angel with a shotgun by the cab, Sue said as she pressed play. Izuku then appeared on the screen with a mic in hand with the room completely dark except for one light shining down on him. Then the music came and a choir could be heard as Izuku began to sing. Get out your guns. Battle's begun. Are you a saint or a sinner? If love's a fight, then I shall die with my heart on a trigger. They say before you start a war you better know what you're fighting for. Well baby, you are all that I adore. Ochako's heart seemed to beat after hearing that part as she clutches her chest. If love is what you need, a soldier I will be. I'm an angel with a shotgun fighting till the war's won. I don't care if heaven won't take me back. I'll throw away my faith, babe, just to keep you safe. Don't you know you're everything I have? And I want to live, not just survive. Tonight sometimes to win, you've got to sin. Don't mean I'm not a believer in Major Tom. We'll sing along, yeah. They still say I'm a dreamer. They say before you start a war, you better know what you're fighting for. Well baby, you are all that I adore. If love is what you need, a soldier I will be. I'm an angel with a shotgun fighting till the war's won. I don't care if heaven won't take me back. I'll throw away my faith, babe, just to keep you safe. Don't you know you're everything I have? And I want to live, not just survive. Tonight, oh whoa 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 whoa, 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 oh whoa whoa whoa. I'm an angel with a shotgun fighting till the war's won. I don't care if heaven won't take me back. I'm an angel with a shotgun fighting till the war's won. I don't care if heaven won't take me back. I'll throw away my faith, babe, just to keep you safe. Don't you know you're everything I have? And I want to live, not just survive. Tonight, and I'm gonna hide my wings tonight. They say before you start a war you better know what you're fighting for. Well baby, you are all that I adore. If love is what you need, a soldier I will be. Izuku then strikes a pose as the video ended. As it did, Ochako let out a sigh of relief as she slumps on the couch while some of the class nods to show their appreciation of their classmates' performance. May I have a turn? Momo asked as Sue gave her the box and the rich girl began to look through the box for a song. So who is going after Momo? Gyro asked. I want to choose next. Minda suddenly shouted as Tsu immediately slapped him with her tongue. I don't think so. You'll probably choose something that fits your taste and we know what you like, J.I.R.O said in annoyance as everyone agreed with her. It is better if someone watches you choose so you won't choose anything that involves Midoriya's privacy, Momo said as she keeps looking through the box. Let me take responsibility, Ida said. You're hired then, Kyoka said with a cheeky smile as Minda grumbles under his breath. Alright, got one, Momo said as she held a CD. What's the title? Zero asked. It's actually one of my favorites. I love you, Momo said. Play it, Toru said in excitement as Momo set the CD in and pressed play. The beat began to play as it shows Izuku and Rin as children with a blonde boy with them as they play in a park, Rin looking at Izuku in wonder. It then transitioned to them in the age of 10 as they stood by a river as the three of them sat by the banks with Rin looking at Izuku very nervously. Then the song began. Me, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 2. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 𝐔𝐸𝐽 𝗔𝐬𝐵 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗃 𝗧𝗏𝗃 𝗔𝐬𝐚𝐠𝐿 𝗔𝐬𝐚𝐻 Rin wanted to ask Izuku but she began to stutter. Shitori Shio Shiratori Rin then gave up as she curls up in embarrassment. 𝐭𝐚𝐲 𝗧𝗏𝗃 It then transitioned to them in the park again as Rin showed Izuku some snacks and drinks. 𝐻𝑜naka Sukanai 𝗫𝐴 𝗬𝗏𝗄 𝐼𝐸𝐻 𝗧𝗏 out of embarrassment. She offered a juice box and Izuku still appreciated the gesture and thanked her, making Rin blush. Kimi Manitakara 𝗵𝐴 Suki Nai Hishi Nai Shimirito. It then transitioned to Izuku's house as they watched something on TV with the blonde separating both Izuku and Rin while Rin gives the green side glances. Sor na no nai baka mitsumaritara. She then blushes and looked down as she was just confused. Nodo ga kawait koda nai puhadao shiuano ni jutsu wa ni Dame da yapari cow. I know. It then transitioned to them in the age of 12 as both Izuku and Rin were in the park again but in their school uniforms. Rin was giving Izuku some side glances while thinking of something to start a conversation with. Kamachi tsuritai yo anata nai kono kamachi daoshite kirishi. I know. She opened her mouth and immediately closed it due to her shyness. 𝗵𝗃𝗃 2. 𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐫𝐻 Nara Gomen 𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐷 𝗵𝗃𝗃 2. 𝗂𝐵𝐴 She then started a conversation but it was pretty quick. 𝗬𝐴 𝗵𝗃𝗃 Edo Sorya Ya Janken Shio Jankenpon Eiko Deso. Rin then looked down in embarrassment as she failed yet again. 𝐭𝐚𝐲 ni Sumarenai ni. The two would then walk through the city in the night in silence till they stopped by a ramen shop and she asked Izuku if he wants some and he agreed. 𝗻𝗁𝐾 Sukanai 𝗫𝐴 𝗬𝗏𝗄 𝗵𝗏 𝗧𝗏. As they eat, Rin continues to give Izuku some glances as the feelings in her heart really want to be let out but she was too scared to be open about it. 𝗁𝗈 ni Takorode Tautatsu Dekido Akashiat Amatara Gomen Bikurasuru Kamishire no Demo ni 𝐻𝐸𝐻 𝐸𝐸. They were then walking in the streets again. As they look around. 𝗬𝗏 𝗬𝗏𝗄 𝗁𝗈 ni jutsu wa ni. Rin suddenly trips. Izuku immediately caught her but this also resulted to them going completely embarrassed as they stood straight and look away with blushes in their faces. Dame da yapari cow. I know. They were then some shown in the age of 14 as both Izuku and Rin sat by the beach. Kamachi tsuritai yo anata nai kono kamachi daoshite kirishi. I know. Rin continues to give Izuku side glances as she felt her heart being squeezed. 𝗁𝗈 ni jutsu wa 𝗳𝗏𝗃 𝗳𝗏𝗃 She opened her mouth but immediately closed it. Her heart continues to have that squeezing feeling. 𝗁𝗈 ni anata ga 𝐴𝐴 Gomen mat 𝗳𝗏𝗃. She then tried to get his attention by poking him but she stopped midway and looked down in embarrassment. Her heart seems to be straining from the squeezing. 𝗳𝗏𝗃 𝗁𝗈 ni anata ga su. She then tried to reach out with her hand but immediately stopped. The straining continues to feel tighter. 𝗁𝗈 ni jutsu wa no sono 𝗳𝗏𝗃 𝗁𝗈 ni anata ga 𝐴𝐴. Her heart continues to be squeezed harder. 𝗳𝗏𝗃 Gomen mat 𝗁𝗈 ni 𝗳𝗏𝗃 and harder. Anata no kodo ga and harder. 𝗁𝗈 ni 𝗳𝗏𝗃 anata no kodo 𝗁𝗈 ni 𝗳𝗏𝗃 anata no kodo 𝗳𝗏𝗃 wa anata ga and harder. Suzu Su. Then it feels constricting. Su ha Gomen. Wasarit. Izuku was about to leave when Rin grabbed onto him. Mat. She began to stutter as Izuku felt awkward. Suzu. The feeling continues to strain harder. Suzu and harder. Suzu till she finally let it out. Suki Daisuke. As she says that, the two look at each other for a moment before they blushed bright like a Christmas tree. But Rin had enough of being scared so she took a much larger step. Their faces were now a few inches from each other and Rin gave Izuku a kiss on the lips. Hyumina and Toru squealing in excitement while Ochako looked at this in jealousy and shame. As she did so, Rin quickly walked away as it was a bit too much for her. While Izuku stood there in shock as he touches his lips and was clearly confused. The video then ended. "That was adorable," Toru squealed. "This video made the song even better," Momo commented. "I gotta admit, that was cute," Zero admitted as everyone, except Bakugo, agreed with him. "What's next? What's next?" Mina said in anticipation. "I think that's enough for now. It's nearing lunchtime," Tenya said as everyone looked at the clock and realized that it is near 12 o'clock. "After that we continue." Everyone then went to get some lunch. Some stayed while others went outside to eat. As they did so, they couldn't wait to come back and listen to more. Izuku is currently on the phone of his aunt's place. "Yeah, I will come back tomorrow morning," he said through the phone. "All right, thanks Ida. Just don't let this happen again, please. It's embarrassing enough that my sister come to get me. I don't want everyone to mess with my stuff." "All right, thanks." He then set the phone down and went back to the couch with 𝗵𝘃𝗧𝗏, Flower, Pico, and 5 others. One of them was the boy with dirty blonde hair. The first 2 were a set of twins. The first one is a girl with beautiful blue eyes, short blonde hair with multiple hairpins on her bangs, and a white bow on her head. On her left shoulder is a code number that reads 2. The girl wears a white tank top with a small yellow 𝐔𝐬𝐽 on it along with a black sailor collar ornated with yellow and a yellow bow under the collar, a pair of black shorts that only reaches to her upper thigh, a yellow and orange belt with a zigzag pattern holding up her shorts, a pair of black detached sleeves that ornated with yellow, detached pant legs that matches the sleeves but has a speaker-like design on it, a pair of white shoes with yellow soles, and a pair of white headphones. Then the second one is a boy with bright blue eyes and short, messy, yellow hair that is tied into a small ponytail on the back. He has the same code number on his shoulder like the girl, and his hair nearly resembles a bundle of bananas. He wears a white shirt with a small yellow 𝐹 on it along with the same black sailor collar as the girl, and an orange tie. He also wears a pair of loose black shorts that reaches his knees with orange stripes on each leg. The difference ended there as he shares the same detached sleeves, the same detached pant legs, the same white shoes, and the same white headphones. The third is a younger boy with blonde hair that looked very soft and fluffy, and his large yellow eyes shone with innocence, yet there is some maturity within them. He wears a loose-fitting white buttoned-up shirt with a small stand-up collar over an open blue buttoned-up coat with yellow trims, and a small cloak around his shoulders with a 𝗬𝗧𝗏 on it. It looks really close to those worn by choir boys. Lastly, he wears a pair of black shorts with yellow trims, a sailor hat, and no footwear. For accessories and necessity, he has bandages wrapped around his left eye, on his right knee, and on the right ankle. Then the last one is a skinny, slender teen with a dark shade of cyan hair, slightly tan skin, and brown eyes with 2 distinctive lightning bolt-like markings underneath each one. He wears a blue collared shirt with short sleeves and white trim, a black undershirt, darker blue jeans, a red and white hat, black fingerless gloves with red borders, and red high-top sneakers. "So everything is good now?" Pico asked. "Yeah, I kinda understand Kacchan, but I really didn't expect the others to indulge in it. But I did feel sorry that Ida had to be dragged into this because nobody will listen to him," Izuku said. "Well, it is inevitable ever since Kimi went to your dorms, and I don't fault her for that due to your aunt," 𝗵𝘃𝗧 said. "Anyways, what do you guys want to do when we go back home?" the older blonde boy asked. "We could continue on our modded Minecraft world. I wanted to try the new things added in the Create mod," Pico said. "We could just focus on the assignments we have." Flower said, "How about we eat on that well-known ramen store again?" The black-haired team said. TF2, 𝗵𝘃𝗧 said. No, the others immediately denied 𝗵𝘃𝗧's request. "Oh, you guys are just wusses. We just know that you will be on the opposite team as a spy, so no way," Flower said in annoyance. "Not to mention you tricking us by acting that we killed you, but you actually used the dead ringer. Kill us, then laugh on our faces," the older blonde boy said as the younger blonde sniffles. "Why do you always go at me first?" the young boy said. "Because you're sometimes gullible, Oliver," 𝗵𝘃𝗧 said to the now named Oliver. "How about you guys can come with me back at school?" Izuku said as everyone looked at him. "Are you sure?" the blonde girl asked. "Well, not really, it just popped up on my head. Since the others already know, I better tell them before they search for something personal." "I'll go," Flower said. "I don't mind, but I have to tell Mickey or she would have my head," Pico said. "I need to ask my parents first," Oliver said. "Definitely have to ask Mako first," the blonde boy said to the blonde girl. "Yeah," the blonde girl said. "I can go by myself, but I do still need to ask my mom," the cap-wearing teen said. "I can ask, but I don't know if I am needed for the bathhouse," the dirty blonde teen said. "I don't need permission, even from my own aunt. Like that hag can do anything," 𝗵𝘃𝗧 said as everyone looked behind him. "ERR. A dude," Pico said. "While she can catch me on the minor things but nothing on the major ones, especially what I did to her. I have done a lot of things to her and she doesn't know, like how I replaced her favorite French bread with those cheaply made ones in a small town. ERRRRR. getting rats in her room when she was sleeping, 𝗬𝗲𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 and many other things that I have done to her, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said with a smug smile on his face. Dude, look behind you, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said as the redhead and eyebrow and looked behind him. His smug look quickly turned to a look of horror. Standing behind him is a young woman with red hair with drill locks on both sides and an 𝐒𝐻𝐽, blood-red eyes, and on her left shoulder is a code number that reads 401. She wears a purple headphones with a red illumination, a dark gray outfit with red trimmings and highlights. A side chain is fastened inside her skirt. Currently, the woman is really angry as her drill locks began to spin rapidly like actual drills. 𝗵𝘃𝐻, she said with a very angry tone as her drills continues to spin. Wings grew out of her back, and the chain unfastened itself to reveal that it was actually a tail. 𝗵𝘃𝐻 let out a nervous laugh and said, 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐵 𝐔𝐬𝐴𝑛𝐻 quirk, chimera. She is a chimera. More specifically, her entire body is human. She has bat wings on her back and a tail that is thin like a belt. She also has increased strength and stamina. But due to this, her aging slows down a lot as she is in her 30 seconds, but she has the body of a 15-year-old. The now named Tito then suddenly grabbed him by his collar and said, "So, what did you say?" 𝗵𝘃𝐻 didn't say anything as she dragged him outside. Seconds later, the two could hear a scuffle outside with 𝗵𝘃𝐻 clearly losing as he screams for help. No one tried to save him. Back in UA, everyone eventually come back to watch more songs. "Alright, who's next?" 𝗬𝗲 asked. "Me," 𝗵𝗲 shouted as the girls grumbles. "Alright, fine." 𝐒𝐽𝐽 then look at Ida. "Keep an eye on him. I already promised you before." "There is no need for a reminder," Tenya said as he sat beside Minoru, who already got in the box and was grumbling under his breath. "Alright here," 𝗵𝗲 said as he gave their class president the CD of his choice. "Alright, let's see." Tenya then grabbed the CD and looked at it. "Say So by Dojo Cat. Cover by 𝐒𝐽𝐽." Everyone then look at 𝗵𝗲. "What? It's a good song," 𝗵𝗲 said. "Yeah, I can agree with that. The song is good, great even," 𝗬𝗀𝐽 said. "I might regret this, but I agree with these idiots," 𝗂𝐽𝐽 said as both Kaminari and Minoru did a fist bump. "Well, let's play it then." Ida then set the CD in and pressed play. Then appearing on screen, 𝗬𝗍𝐽 is standing by a beach with a mic in hand. Then a smooth beat began to play as the Greenite began to sing. "Day to night to morning, keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it, why don't you say so?" "Oh yeah," 𝗵𝗲 said as he and 𝗬𝗀𝐽 snapped their fingers to the beat while the others were entranced by 𝗬𝗍𝗻's beautiful voice. "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so. Day to night to morning. Keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it. Why don't you say so?" "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so. It's been a long time since you fell in love. You ain't coming out your shell. You really ain't been yourself. Tell me what must I do, cause luckily I'm good at reading. I wouldn't bug him. But he won't stop cheesing and we can dance all day around it. If you front then I'll be bouncing. If you want it scream and shout it, babe. Before I leave you dry. Day to night to morning. Keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it. Why don't you say so?" "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so. Day to night to morning. Keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it. Why don't you say so?" "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so. Let me check my chest. My breath right quick. He ain't never seen it in a dress like this. He ain't never even been impressed like this. Proly why I got him quiet on the set like sip. Like it, love it, need it bad, take it, own it, steal it. Fast boy, stop playing, come and dance. Why you actin' like you shy? Shut it, save it, keep it, pushin' why you beating round the bush. And knowing you want all this woman, never knock it till you try. All of these ladies hating I have you with me. All of my friends saying you mad, committed, realer than anybody you had. And pretty, all of that body oddy. Any minute, day to night to morning, keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it. Why don't you say so?" "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so. Day to night to morning. Keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it. Why don't you say so?" "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so. Oh yeah, ha 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 ha. Oh yeah, ha 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 ha. Day to night to morning. Keep with me in the moment I'd let you had I known it. Why don't you say so?" "Didn't even notice. No punches left to roll with. You got to keep me focused. You want it? Say so." 𝗬𝗍𝗻 then watches the sun beginning to set before the song finally ended. The entire class began to applause at another song. Now that was some smooth singing, 𝗵𝗲 said. "It's not that bad. The original is still great. It just a colorful choice of words," 𝗂𝐽𝐽𝐽 said. "Oh yeah, I forgot that there are those words in the original," 𝗬𝗲 said as everyone winced, knowing what they meant. "Alrighty, who's next?" 𝗵𝗲 asked. "I think it's Bakugo's turn," 𝗬𝗲 said. "Just give me the fucking box," Katsuki said as he grabbed the box and began looking. While he does that, the others are now talking with each other. Like wow, Gumi's voice is still heaven, Denki said. And it will always be, 𝗧𝗏 said. Yeah. Now shut the fuck up, I'm looking here, 𝗵𝘃𝗀𝗧 said as he keeps looking through the box. Sheesh, calm down 𝗵𝘃𝗲, Kirishima said. Anyway, I've been thinking. Do you think the teachers began to notice us staying in the dorms more than usual? Maybe, but I hope not, Mina said. Not to hope what? The entire group then jumps as they look behind them to see their teacher, Shoto Aizawa, glaring at them. What are all of you doing? Aizawa said as the group looked at each other nervously. Then he saw the box and let out a sigh. So you found the box. The group then looked at each other in shock, then back to their teacher. How did you know about the box, sensei? Ochako asked. Believed it or not, a cousin of mine married one of the problem child's aunts, which technically makes him my nephew, and I learn about the box from them, Aizawa explained as the group were even more shocked. Can you tell us more about it? Toru asked as their teacher then glared at them, making the group flinched. That is not my place to tell, his gaze then softened. But I will tell you that there are much older songs that they did and own somewhere else. The students just look at their teacher in amazement when 𝗵𝘃𝗀𝗧 finally has a CD in hand. Here and fucking play it, Katsuki said as he gives the CD to Momo. Oh, Finish Line by 𝗧𝗏𝗃, the rich girl said. Alright, more rock, 𝗧𝗏 said with enthusiasm. Play it, Kirishima said with a wide grin on his face as Momo put the CD on the player and pressed play. Appearing on screen, Izuku is playing the drums, Fuke is playing the guitar, Flower playing the bass, and the teen with the cap stood in the middle with a mic. Ready, Ash? Izuku asked the cap-wearing teen. You know I'm ready. Hit it. They then began to play as they began to set up the beat. The sound of the guitars and drums began to increase. Some of the class began to bob their head and tap their feet due to the intro. As the anticipation began to rise, Ash began to sing. Good evening, my people up in the chandeliers, the whining and dining. The menu is blood, sweat and tears, everybody ready, raining down confetti, champions are born right now, ain't about the glamour. Click goes the hammer, run when you hear that sound, heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line, we know we survive. Even if we crawl to the finish line, I won't believe it. Underdog dream and don't need no cheers. World's gonna see it, heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line, woo. Kirishima, Denki, and 𝗧𝗏 cheers as the beat began to play before Ash returns to singing. Their dreams just keep dripping out of their golden cups. I'm starving, leftovers ain't enough, ain't about the royals. They do nothing for you, all you got is you right now. Who is gonna falter? Who is gonna conquer? Better never count me out, heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line, we know we survive. Even if we crawl to the finish line, I won't believe it. Underdog dream and don't need no cheers. World's gonna see it, heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line, gonna make it to the finish line every day. Gonna make it to the finish line, gonna make it to the finish line every day, gonna make it to the finish line, heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line, we know we survive. Even if we crawl to the finish line, I won't believe it. Underdog dream and don't need no cheers. World's gonna see it, heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. Izuku, Fuke, and Flower continues to play as Ash hums. Then they reach the end and they struck a pose. Some of the students then gave a round applause while the rest and Aizawa just watches. Then their teacher stood up. I think that is enough for now, he said as his students look at him. What, why? Denki asked. Well, the problem child and his friends are coming here tomorrow. You might as well get this place ready while I tell Nezu about this, Aizawa as he was now walking away. Can we at least listen to one more song before we do that? Hagakure asked as their teacher stopped for a moment, grumbling. Fine, but you better not laze around. If you ever meet his entire family, you'll learn why you shouldn't mess with them, Aizawa said before going, shivering along the way, which the student didn't notice. Alright, one last song then we prepare the place for tomorrow, Ida said. Alright, give me the box. It's my turn again, Kirishima said as he was given the box. He rummaged through the thing for a bit when he grabbed a disc and a smile of content appeared on his face. He then looked at Momo and gave it to her. This one. Alright, let's see. Momo then looked at the CD and a smile also appeared on his face. Would Anyone Care by Citizen Soldier. The most of the class also smiled at hearing this as they waited in anticipation. Momo then placed the CD on the player and pressed play. Then appearing on the screen is Izuku sitting in front of a piano as he plays it and began to sing. Would anyone notice if tonight I disappeared? Would anyone chase me and say the words that I need to hear? That I'm no burden, not so worthless, bent so much that I just might break. The students listened closely as they remembered their own struggles during their youth, the pain they felt and the tears they shed, all consuming, so confusing, the questions that keep me awake. Would anyone care? Would anyone cry? If I finally stepped off of this ledge tonight, would anything change? Would you all be just fine? Cause I need a reason to not throw the fight, it just might save my life. Would anyone want me if they knew what was inside my head? Would anyone see me for the person that I really am? I won't lie, so hard to hide, I've never felt worthy of love. I would give up everything I have just to feel good enough. Would anyone care? Would anyone cry if I finally stepped off of this ledge tonight? Would anything change? Would you all be just fine? Cause I need a reason to not throw the fight. It just might save my life. If you're dying inside, sick of being alive, let me share in your pain from my lungs through the dark, spoken straight from the heart. Let me give you a reason to stay. If you're out there still lying awake, if you're out there still wondering, would anyone care? Would anyone cry if you finally gave up and turned out the light? The world would be changed if you left it behind. You can't be replaced. No, tonight is the night you take back your life. Take back your life, take back your life, take back your life. The song then ended, but the video didn't end there. As Izuku stands up from the video, then Rin ran up to him and gave him a hug, which he gladly returned. Do you feel better? Rin asked him as a smile appeared on Izuku's face. Yeah, he said as he held her tightly. Yes, I am. Now, the video finally ended as everyone smiled at the heartwarming scene. Alright everyone, let's clean this place. Do anything other than listening to more songs. Have dinner and go to sleep, Ada said as he took the box. To make sure that no will peek in it, I will trust Uraraka to guard it. Ochako looked shocked, then stammers, why me? Because I trust you that you won't look to anything private about Midoriya. And I know he trusts you as well, Ida said as he gave her the box. Uraraka contemplates as the box is on her lap, but she soon put her hands on it and gave Ida a nod. Alright, Yaoyorozu, call the others so we could clean up, Tenya said as Momo nods and stood up to get the rest of the class upstairs. The others who were watching quickly stood up to help clean as they were just excited for tomorrow. Back in Izuku's aunt's apartment, Izuku and his friends decided to sleep there before going back to Ua tomorrow. Fukase and Oliver were sleeping on the couch, facing away from each other with separate pillows and blankets. Ash, the blonde boy, and the dirty blonde boy sleeping on separate 3 chairs, their own pillows and blankets. Lastly, Izuku is sleeping on the floor with Flower, and the blonde girl also having pillows but a single blanket. Then something is nudging Izuku as he groggily opened his eyes to see Eri standing by his feet. Hey Eri, Izuku said as he sat up. Why aren't you with the others? Eri looks down shyly and said, I want to stay with you for tonight. She then looked up to Izuku. Can I? Izuku just smiles and said, sure, we just need some room. How about between us? The two flinch a bit as they saw that Flower was watching them. How I know something is going on when you moved, Flower said as she then faced Eri. You can sleep between us if you like. Eri looked pretty nervous till she saw Flower crossing her arms, and Eri saw an arm sprouting out of the ground, its hand offering itself for her. Eri hesitantly grabs it before the arm leads her towards the 3 on the floor and placed her between Izuku and Flower. Eri felt a little weirded out by this, but she eventually began to like it as she began to feel sleepy, and automatically hugged the verdant hair teen in her sleep. Izuku and Flower just smiled as they then hugged each other with Eri between them, the 3 of them having smiles on their faces. The blonde girl then joined in by hugging Izuku. As they sleep peacefully, they didn't notice from far away that Gyumi is watching them from the guest room with a smile on her face. She looked at her brother with a look of content before going back inside to get her own beauty sleep. Arrival Izuku and his friends finally reached Ua with Gyumi driving them there before she left to go back for their mother. The verdant hero and his friends stood before the entrance of the school with some essentials, but they also have some tag-along. Eri and Yuki were with them, with the latter having to call her parents for permission and assurance that she would be safe. And along with them is a young girl with pink hair and teal eyes. She wears a long dark teal dress, underneath a teal blouse with yellow buttons. She also wears dark teal socks, teal boots with black heels, as well as a yellow cap and gloves. She also has a small black collar around her neck. Are you sure that you want your cousin to join us? Pico asked as he and everyone else look at the pink-haired girl. Well, Aunt Valerie is busy with her work and Uncle Silver is. You know, Ash said with an awkward smile on his face as his cousin gave him a dirty look. My family is powerful, but they aren't monsters like the media tries to portray other groups after what Overhaul did, she said as she crossed her arms. I didn't mean it like that, Ash said with a frown. I visit you guys every summer and love you guys a lot. It would still be a shock for everyone when they learn that your aunt married a Yakuza boss. Yeah, it was shocking, but we got used to it, the boy with dirty blonde hair said. But Eri did get scared after hearing that parts of your family are a part of the Yakuza. We only managed to calm her down after explaining that you guys were good people, Izuku said. Okay, I get it, we can be bad, but we still have standards, the girl said. I think we should get in now, Pico quickly said as everyone agreed, and they entered. US students from Class 1 have been cleaning their dorms, even preparing blankets and sleeping bags for their guests if they don't prefer the couch. Most of them are excited to meet their classmates' friends, some especially wanting to know who they are. Right now, they are preparing some food after working to get the place prepared. Do you think that they would like the food we make? Ochako asked. Why doubt? Bakugo is a pro in cooking and Sato makes a mean cake, Denki commented as he watched Bakugo making some stir-fry while Sato is making a pound cake. I just can't wait to meet them, Mina said in excitement. They then heard the door open followed by an I'm back. Everyone quickly stopped what they were doing, before making sure that everything was turned off first. and went to look towards the door to see Izuku and his friends going inside. "Hey guys," Izuku greeted his classmates. "Midoriya, I see that you have returned," Tenya said as he looked at the people the Verdant brought along. "So these people are your friends? They even have Eri along?" Hagakure squealed in excitement. "Not only her, but Kai Yuki is also here," Tsuyu said. "Hello," Yuki greeted them while Eri just hides behind her. Izuku just let out a nervous chuckle and said, "You already know some of them, but let me introduce them to you." He then gestured to Flower. "You guys already know Hana-chan, but you mostly know her as Flower." Flower just gave them a nod, but there is a bit of a blush on her cheeks. He then approached 𝗵𝘃𝗧 and 𝗵𝑃𝗀. "Here are 𝗵𝘃𝗧 and 𝗵𝑃𝗀. Sup," 𝗵𝘃𝗧 said with his arms crossed. "Greetings," 𝗵𝑃𝗀 said courteously. Then to Oliver. "Oliver." "Hello." Oliver greeted as a golden finch just flew inside and landed on his hat. "Oh, this is James, by the way." When Kota saw this, a smile appeared on his face. Izuku then approached the blonde twins, the Kagami twins Rin and Len. "Nice to meet you." Len greeted them while Rin gave them a wave. "Yuki." "Hello again," Yuki said again. "And these guys," Izuku said as he went behind Ash and the dirty blonde teen, "are Ash and Hansuke." "Nice to meet you," Ash greeted with a smile on his face while tipping his cap forward. "Same," Hansuke went along with a wave of his hand. The pink-haired girl gives a fake cough. "Oh right." Izuku let out a nervous chuckle as he points at her while looking towards his classmate. "That's Georgia, Ash's cousin." Momo then steps forward and said, "We are happy to have you here. As you can see, we have prepared everything for your visit, so we hope that you enjoy your stay here. This isn't a hotel, yeah, Momo." "A simple greeting is good enough," Kyoka said as Momo was a bit flustered while everyone let out some chuckles. "Good you arrived." Everyone jumped a bit as they looked toward the doors to see Aizawa standing there. "Nezu has been expecting you. Not surprising that he would check your files and backgrounds when we talked about your friends coming here." Izuku just let out a nervous chuckle as he rubbed the back of his head. "Sensei, what does the principal want about Midoriya?" Ida asked. The principal just got more interested in Midoriya's background, specifically his family. "I swear his laugh will never leave my mind after he found out," Aizawa said as he mumbled the last part. "So Midoriya's family is quite famous then?" Todoroki assumed. "You'll know sooner or later, it's just up to the problem child." Aizawa then left, and everyone then went to accommodate Izuku's friends, putting their stuff together in one spot, assigning where they sleep and then giving them breakfast. As they did so, Ochako brought the box downstairs and Izuku noticed this. "Why do you have my box?" Izuku asked as Ochako nervously looked down. "Well, Ida gave it to me. He trusts me that I would keep it safe till you come back," she said. Izuku then smiles, somehow creating a blinding light, and said, "Well thanks." His classmates and friends have to rub their eyes while Ochako blushes. "Damn, that is still so bright," 𝗵𝘃𝗧 said as he blinked multiple times. Again, that smile could be weaponized, 𝗵𝘃𝗀 said. "Hey, I have a question," Mina said as Izuku looked at her. Sure," Izuku said. "Is Rin also your girlfriend?" Mina asked as everyone looked at her. Some were appalled while others were neutral, but both Izuku and Rin were blushing while Flower maintained a neutral look. "Ashido, it is not right to ask something very personal," Tenya scolded the acid user. "But come on, we did see Midoriya dance with Rin, I just want to know." "Yeah, they do," 𝗵𝘃𝗧 blurted out as everyone looked at him. "Dude," 𝗵𝘃𝗀 yelled at the redhead in anger as he punched him on the shoulder hard, causing 𝗵𝘃𝗧 to yelp in pain then glared at 𝗵𝘃𝗀. Both Mina and Toru just gave out loud squeals at the news. "You have to tell us more," Toru said in excitement, but Ojiro held her back. "Let's get them used to the place before asking," the martial artist said as Izuku let out a sigh of relief. "So how about a tour of the school then?" Denki suggested. "Sure, that sounds exciting," Ash said. "It would be nice to see what Yua has in store," Hansuke said. "Then it's decided then," Len said with a smile which the others followed. "I guess a tour wouldn't be bad," Izuku said as he and his chosen classmates gave his friends a tour. Along with Izuku, Ida, Ochako, Momo, Kyoka, and Todoroki gave the gang a tour. They first went to Class 1A's classroom, while the older kids just roam around. Eri and Yuki were running around, deciding to play a game of tag in the room. "I was expecting a lot more with a class that is focusing on creating heroes," Hansuke said as he brushed his hand on one of the tables. "Yeah, it's just really normal," 𝗵𝘃𝗀 said. "Hey, I did hear from my parents that their old school was like this as well," Ash said. "Your parents?" Todoroki asked. "Yeah, my mom and dad along with my aunt came to Japan from England to study along with their friends for a year. My dad's friend, Blue, decided to stay here to continue his study while my aunt wanted to live here," Ash said as he looked around. "It's not Yua if you want to know, it's a completely different school. So your parents are heroes?" Ochako asked. My dad is. My mom wanted to be a nurse, Ash said as he chuckles a bit. My dad stopped hero work for a while because he has to take care of me. But he when does go for hero work. He would always come home battered as my mom scolds him for being reckless. Well, you're no better either. Let me remind you that you saved that French girl from your class from an escaped lion, Georgia said to him. My mom heard what happened to you and the scolding you got from your mom. Ash just let out a nervous chuckle from being reminded of that incident. Let's not forget the other incidents of him saving other girls that went to study there, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said with a cheeky grin while Ash has a small blush on his face. Let's go somewhere else now, Izuku said, not wanting his friend to be embarrassed anymore. The tour then continued as they are now in Gym Gamma. So this is where you train your quirks? Len asked. It seems a little empty, Rin added. This entire place is made of concrete, so 𝗵𝗲𝗧 would help give us targets and even fix the area when we are finished, Tenya said. Now that sounds interesting, 𝗵𝗃 said. Hey, can I try my quirk here? Ash asked as the students look at it. I don't know. Momo was a bit hesitant to accept. Oh, don't worry, it's not that destructive. My quirk is an emitter type, but I have a lot of control on it, Ash assured them. Izuku's classmates then look at the Verdant hero for confirmation. It's fine, Izuku assured them. How about us? 𝗵𝘃𝐻 asked. The others are fine, but you, Oliver, and Georgia are not if 𝗵𝗲𝗧 isn't here. While 𝗵𝗃 couldn't since he does need something for his quirk to be effective, Izuku said. 𝗵𝘃𝐻 just grumbles while the latter three didn't mind. All right, here we go, Ash said as he let out a deep breath. Ash then put his hands together. His eyes closed as he began to focus. Then a bright light appeared between his hands as he began to focus more. He then moved his hands away from each other as a ball of blue energy formed between them. He then slowly began to move his hands around as the ball began to change shape, eventually taking the shape of a shuriken. Izuku's classmates were amazed at the sight as Ash then threw the shuriken, which splits into 3 different shuriken. Before the shurikens hit the wall, they immediately disappeared. Ash then created more, but instead of shurikens, they are balls of the same blue energy. He threw 2 of them and they move on their own before colliding with each other. Still got it, Ash said as he flicks his wrists. 𝗂𝐻𝐵, quirk, aura manipulation. He can exude his spiritual energy to form anything ranging from passive armor to homing projectiles. But he needs a lot of energy if he wants to fight longer. My turn, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said as he steps up in front. 𝗵𝘃𝐻 then cracks his knuckles before letting out a deep breath and closing his eyes. A soft humming sound was then heard before sounds of clicking and whirring comes after. Izuku's classmates were now looking in amazement as 𝗵𝘃𝐻's body began to change, revealing that he is not of flesh, but of steel and wires. Small metal pieces that form 𝗵𝘃𝐻's skin moved around into their designated positions, revealing complex wiring and metal rods. His feet open up to reveal thrusters inside them as 𝗵𝘃𝐻 began to hover. Another pair of thrusters were revealed on the palm of his hands, now keeping 𝗵𝘃𝐻 stable as he hovered. His back opened up to reveal complex machinery that began to take shape and eventually form wings. Lastly, a visor forms around 𝗵𝘃𝐻's eyes, and the decorative plug seems to retract within his dress. Is that his quirk? Kyoka asked as she looked at 𝗵𝘃𝐻's transformation in amazement along with the rest of the tour guide except Izuku. No, it's not. His quirk is what is supporting his transformation, Flower said calmly as most of the students from class 1 with them looked at her. What do you mean? Momo asked. 𝗵𝘃𝐻 is a cyborg, Flower said, shocking them. It was due to an accident that he became like this along with his sister. Their bodies were so mangled, but the doctors managed to save some of their body, and very skilled engineers that their parents had to pay to make them very strong prosthetic parts to replace the old ones that were unrecognizable. As for his quirk, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said with his arms crossed. He and Mickey have somewhat similar quirks, but they have the same purpose. To power their new body, Izuku finished it. 𝗵𝘃𝐻 then began to fly around the room at breakneck speed, his body crackling with teal energy as he zoomed around with no end. He did some backflips and a few barrel rolls for almost an hour now, then performed a somersault before landing on his feet, hero style. 𝗵𝘃𝐻 then began to transform back, but his body seems to let out literal steam, leaving him panting in exhaustion. Yep, I outdid myself again, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said as he wiped the sweat from his brow. You'd attained 𝗵𝘃𝐻, quirk, reactor core, a rather useless passive quirk that only lets him heat his body. But after becoming a cyborg, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 could easily power his new augmented body without being weighed down by large inconsistent batteries. But if he uses it too much, his body would burn up and needed a lot of rest and ice baths to reduce the excess heat. Our turn then, Len said as he and Rin stepped up while 𝗵𝘃𝐻 returned to the group and downed a whole bottle of water, further increasing the amount of steam coming out of his body. You good, bud? 𝗵𝘃𝐻 asked. Yeah, but I might need some ice water after this, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said. That was dope, Kyoka commented. It was a great sight to see, Momo said in agreement. Well, thanks, but Mickey has more practice than me. She can do better, 𝗵𝘃𝐻 said. All right, guys, eyes on us, Len said as everyone looked at him and Rin. Both he and Rin then went to the center as they closed their eyes. Then they opened their eyes and their entire demeanor suddenly changed. Instead of the jolly look on Len's face, he now looked calm and professional, a tired yet happy smile appearing on his face. Rin, on the other hand, instead of her peppy demeanor, she now looked arrogant and prideful, a smirk appearing on her face that just has "I don't fucking care" energy. "Finally, that little girl finally let us to have control," Rin said, but her voice was haughty and vexing. "Now, Rillian, don't insult the person that lets you take control," Len said to Rin, or rather Rillian, who crossed her arms with a snotty look on her face. "Surely you jest, Alan. When the first time we appeared on this world, I have to walk among these fools while watching those people in spandex saving the day," Rillian said as she air-quoted the last part as Len, or rather Alan, just let out a tired sigh. "Let's just show our powers to our hosts," Alan said as Rillian just huffs. "Fine." Achako was confused along with her classmates. "Deku, what is going on?" "It's the twins' quirks," Pico said as he drank another bottle of ice water. "That's quite strange for a quirk. And why are they calling themselves Rillian and Alan?" Kyoka asked. "You do know 𝐒𝐵LLIOUS Chronicles, right?" Izuku asked them. "Oh, that series. Yeah, WHO. I see now," Gyro asked before realizing what he meant along with the rest of the students. The twins suddenly began to glow as everyone looked away for a bit till the glow finally went away. They now see the twins having completely different looks. Rin, or rather Rillian, has her shoulder-length hair in a small ponytail held by a 4-petaled ribbon of honey and white ridges, a black rose for a hairpin and another for the tie, a detachable, honey-colored collar locked in a golden accessory, and a circular red gemstone of similar craft to the necklace she wore, wrapped around her nape. A shawl of white strewn with tiny little details attached itself to her honey-colored dress to match the color of her inner petticoat. Her honey-colored overskirt atop the layers of dresses was of baggy sleeves and baggy pleats for the white inner garment. Golden roses acted as pins and accessories as the ribbons she wore matched each. A cravat-likened scarf tightened around her waist like a shawl, and further down on one side, as the folds grow smaller, the orange ribbons reminiscent of a braid decorated the slits of the outermost layer of her dress. Whatever fancy shoes decorated her feet was veiled by the laces of her outfit. Len, or rather Alan, has his hair combed down while his small ponytail still remains on his head. Firm, squared shoulders fashioned with a golden coat with white outlines. The high, fitted collar of the pure white inner linen adorned in golden strips, veiled under a brown vest. A purplish-white cravat strung tight his neck like a collar to a slave and to his duty. Purplish-white trousers that neatly folded upwards, 2 buttons in linear to fasten each in place. White high knee socks hugged his legs, brown shoes that stood with silver buckles. His poise like a knight shaped in discipline as he wore the formal Victorian-esque clothing. Tagamine Rin, quirk, alter ego. This gives the user a second consciousness in their body, which they let control their body for specific tasks. For Rin specifically is the daughter of evil, Rillian 𝗬𝗓𝗓, a princess from a speculated different realm of existence. But the two have completely different personalities, so they are sometimes at each other's throats. Tagamine Len, quirk, alter ego. This gives the user a second consciousness in their body, which they let control their body for specific tasks. For Len specifically is the servant of evil, Alan Avedonia, the twin brother and servant to Rillian, who is also from a speculated different realm of existence. The two aren't at each other's throat like their siblings, but Len do try to break Alan from his cynicism with barely any results. "Much better," Rillian said as she and Alan then summoned swords in their hands. "Shall we then, my dear brother?" "Ready when you are," Alan said. "Then, in guard." The two then clashed their blades, creating sparks in the air as they strike and parry each other. Worried, Tenya tried to intervene but 𝗬𝗃𝗧 stopped. "Don't worry, Four Eyes. They know what they are doing," 𝗬𝗃𝗧 said as Ida felt insulted at the remark, but he would trust the redhead's later words. The twins continued to clash their blades before finally ending their spar. "At least the girl keeps practicing. Otherwise she would have an earful from me," Rillian said as their swords then disappear. "Good thing the girl is very kind or she wouldn't be listening to you years ago," Alan said as he then looked to their audience. "We better give them control. We must continue the tour that is being given to us by our hosts." Rillian just pouts and said, "Do we have to?" "Yes." Rillian just huffed and said, "Fine." "Good," Alan said as he proceeds to give Len his control over their body. Before Rillian could do so, she looked at Izuku with a smile and said, "See you later then, and there better be a brioche for it." Izuku just gave her a nervous laugh and waved before Rillian began giving Rin control of their body. Kyoka then looked at the green-haired hero and said, "Her too. It's kinda hard not to when she is always listening to us," Izuku admitted as he rubbed the back of his head. "You were pretty much whipped when she is in control. Just be happy that she isn't a massive bitch from what we knew," 𝗬𝗃𝗧 said before something hits him on the head, directly on his forehead. Everyone to the throne projectile and saw that it was an orange. They looked at the twins, Rin and Len now in control and were now in their original clothes, as the female twin flexes her hand. She said that he deserves it, Rin said before going back to the group with Len while 𝗵𝗃𝗧 just grumbles as he rubs his forehead. Alright, let's go to our next destination, 𝐒𝐴𝐵 said as they then left 𝗵𝗵𝗲. Everyone were then in the cafeteria. And here's the cafeteria. But you already know what we do here, 𝗂𝐽𝐽𝐿 said. Izuku then saw something, or rather someone. Oh, there's lunch rush. Everyone faced to where Izuku was looking, and there is indeed the cook hero. Hello students, and I see the guests Aizawa told me are here as well, the cook said as he let out a chuckle. I also heard from him how some of you have quite an appetite. We kinda expect this, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said as the rest of the gang agreed with him. Well, you can eat here whenever you like, just don't abuse it, Lunch Rush said. We'll make sure, 𝗬𝗏 said as she gave 𝗵𝗃𝗧 a look, which he returned with an annoyed one. Hey, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet, he defended himself. Which left you in the hospital after eating a lot of burgers, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 pointed out. I swear, you should have been dead with how much you ate. I just burn a lot of calories and fat, he said. Lunch Rush just laughs at this and said, well, how about a quick bite before you continue your tour? Well, we barely ate any breakfast, so why not? Ash said as everyone agreed. I want a muffin, Oliver quickly said. Apple pie, Yuki quickly said with Iri's eyes seemed to gleam when she heard the word apple. I could go for some ice cream, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 said. Same, 𝗬𝗏 said. Ice cream does sound nice, Georgia agreed. I could go for some chili, 𝗵𝗃𝗧 said. Some soba could be good, 𝗵𝗃𝗧 said. Soba does sound good, Todoroki said. Might as well take a break, Izuku said as the rest soon joined the others for a snack break. Everyone were now on ground beta. How the fuck did they pay for this? 𝗵𝗃𝗧 said with his hands on his hips when 𝗬𝗏 smacked him on the head. Yuki and Iri is still here, you know, 𝗬𝗏 reminded him as Rin and Len were covering the children's ears. Still, what is UA's budget that they can have this? 𝗵𝗃𝗀 asked. Izuku and classmates just out nervous chuckle as they thought of the other facilities that the school has that must have cost like millions. Now the tour continues as everyone were walking in the hallways to their next destination. So what's next? Georgia asked. How about the development studio? 𝗂𝐴𝐵𝗃𝗀 suggested. Well, I heard that it's where your costumes, Yuki said in excitement. Well, we have to wait and see, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said with interest in mind. It's just one more 𝗬𝗏. Izuku was about to say something when he bumped into someone. I'm sorry, Yaoyorozu-san. It then showed to be a girl with orange hair and teal eyes. Kendo-san, Momo said as she realized that standing in front of them is the president of Class 1B, Itsuka Kendo. Along with Kendo were her classmates 𝗃𝗧𝗃𝗃𝗃 and Yui Kodai. Yo 1A, how are you guys doing? 𝗃𝗧𝗃𝗃 asked. Oh, we are just giving Midoriya's friends a tour, Momo said. Really? Who is that 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏? 𝗃𝗧𝗃𝗃 said as he points at the group behind the students of Class 1A, a look of shock on his face, but it didn't hide the joy behind it. There's 𝗵𝗏𝗏 too, Yu pointed out with that blank look on her face. Why are famous celebrities here? Kendo asked in shock. Well, they are Midoriya's friends along with the others with them, 𝗂𝗏𝗃 explained. 𝗃𝗧𝗃𝗃 was then in front of Izuku, grabbing the Verdant hero on his shoulders as he began to shake him and said, Bro, that's awesome. I listened to most of their songs and they were super manly. What's your favorite? 𝗵𝗃𝗀 asked in curiosity as 𝗃𝗧𝗃𝗃 thought about it. There is a lot, but I would go for Bring It On by Rin and Len, he said. Said twins gave each other a high five with smiles on their faces. Yui then approached 𝗬𝗏 as the two gave each other a blank stare when Kodai said, I'm a fan of your songs. Thanks, 𝗬𝗏 said. Since introductions are done, shall we continue the tour? Tenya said. Where are you guys going next? Kendo asked. To the development studio. Izuku said. Well, if you have time, come visit our dorms, Kendo suggested. Well, sure, we don't mind. It is nearing lunch, so the development studio might be our last stop, so we could take a break. We will continue after lunch, Ash said as everyone agreed with him. All right, let's go then, Momo said as she and the tour group then left. The others will be so shocked when we explain this and see this for themselves, 𝗃𝗧𝗃𝗃 said with a grin as Yui nods in agreement. All right, we are slowly approaching the development studio, Tenya said as they are now nearing their destination. So every costumes is made there, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. Costumes, tools, and many other things that a hero would need, Momo said. And the person who manages the room is Power Loader, Kyoka said. I'm excited to what they have in their, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 said with a smile on his face. There's a lot of things in there, so whoa. Boom. Before Izuku could finish, he was immediately pulled back when the door of the development studio was blasted off its hinges due to an explosion. Thanks, Hana-chan, Izuku said as he looked back to see 𝗬𝗏 having her hands on the back of his shirt, preventing what would be a similar incident from before. Hatsume. A shout of anger could be heard inside the now doorless room. Laying on the blasted-off door is a pink-haired girl with crosshair pupils, wearing overalls and covered in soot. This is Mei Hatsume. Whoa, what a blast, Mei said with a grin on her face. Hatsume-san, why must you cause so much property damage again? Ada reprimanded the pink-haired support student, but she mostly ignored him and went back inside. Does this happen often? 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 asked. We don't know personally, but we do hear about the occasional explosion here. 𝗂𝗏𝗄 said, God damn it, 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Stop making everything explode. Then came into view as 𝗃𝗃. The teacher, Hiro, then saw the visitors outside. What can I help you? Oh, we are just giving a tour for our guest, Momo said as she gestured to their visitors, which 𝗃𝗃 look at. So this is the group that Aizawa and Nezu talked about? 𝗃𝗃 asked. Yes, 𝗃𝗃 sensei, Izuku said as the hero just hums. Well, if you are doing a tour here, might as well let you in, just don't touch anything dangerous, he said as he let the students and visitors in. The students then let the visitors look around the place. Pico and Hansuke clearly having some interest. These are some really fancy tech, Pico said as he held up a grappling hook. No kidding, Hansuke said as he has a piece of a costume on his hand. While they do this, Flower and Georgia were chatting. Yuki and Eri were staring on an open computer with a blueprint on it, and Ash and Oliver talking about the piece of equipment in front of them. Meanwhile, 𝗃𝗃 found a metal ball on one of the desks and he grabbed it. He then felt a slight chill on the metal surface, deducting that it was an ice bomb. The redhead looked at the bomb, to Pico, then back to the bomb before having a grin on his face. He then went to a baseball throw stance and shouted, Pico catch. He then threw the bomb as Pico saw the ball being thrown at him. The cyborg quickly grabbed it with his left hand. The white-haired teen then looked at what he caught when the ball opened up and began to let out a beeping out. This freaks him out as he tries to throw it away. But the bomb finally exploded and traps his entire left arm in ice. Oh, you fucker, Pico shouted in anger as 𝗃𝗃 began to laugh while the cyborg tried to remove the ice that is covering his arm. Hey, what did I just say? 𝗃𝗃 yelled out in annoyance. 𝗃𝗃 was about to make a run for it when he was quickly restrained by multiple arms, keeping him in one place. He then looked to the right to see Flower having her arms crossed, a look of annoyance on her face. Pico then finally managed to break free by slamming the cracking ice on the metal table before letting his arm transform to further break it apart. As the job was finished, he quickly transforms it back, then look at his redhead friend in annoyance. Wanna do the honors? Flower asked as 𝗃𝗃 began gulp when Pico began to hit his right fist onto his left palm, creating soft clanging sounds. Gladly, Pico said as he slowly approached the trapped singer. Soon, the entire development studio was filled with screams of pain and followed by screams of protest from Pico when Mei began to realize that he was part machine. Everyone soon returned to Class 1A's dormitory to eat some lunch. Man, this is good, Hansuke said as he was eating some curry. You can thank our expert cooks here, Denki said as he points at Bakugo and Sato, the former scoffing while the latter just gave them a smile of appreciation. This place is really great, but I'm not going anywhere near the development studio again, Pico said as he shivers. How did that girl even manage to pull his arm out? It was reinforced. Grumbling on his seat as 𝗃𝗃 says his face was bandaged and had to eat soup through a straw instead of the more delicious food on the table. You should have seen it coming, Flower said as she also ate some curry. Yummy, Yuki said cheerfully as she and Eri were eating one slice of strawberry pound cake each. We couldn't wait for the tour to continue after this, Len said as his sister agreed with him. Say, instead of going back to the tour, how about we listen to more of the songs in the box? Nina asked as everyone looked at her. Well, why not? Izuku was a bit unnerved at first but eventually agreed. Are you sure? Todoroki asked. I guess, but I already see everyone really wanting to, the green-haired teen said as those he called out let out nervous chuckles. And it would be great to look back to some old songs, Pico said, and songs that we do together with the others. Ash said, then it's official then, Izuku said as everyone agreed. Let's finish lunch first, Flower said as she was already finished and everyone noticed that she only ate a single serving while the others ate 2 or more. Are you not going to eat more? Kyoka asked. Medical reasons, Flower said as she then drank a glass of water. I'm not allowed to eat more or less than what I can eat, and I need to exercise a lot. We will keep that in mind, Tenya said, keeping a small memo of Flower's condition. Let's finish already. I am already getting excited. Oliver as everyone then went to finish their lunch, preparing themselves for some entertainment for the students and nostalgia for Izuku and his friends. The tour will wait for now, they want to hear some more songs. After finishing their lunch, the students in Class 1 and their visitors are now sitting in front of the TV while 𝗂𝗏𝗄 has the box in her hand. So who goes first? Hiroshima asked. Well, since there are new people here, why not let them have a turn? Kyoka suggested. So who wants to pick the song? 𝗂𝗏𝗄 asked as she presents the box. I'll go, Anjiro offered to choose. 𝗂𝗏𝗄 then gave him the box as he began to look through the box till he finally found something that interested him. Black and Blue. Isn't that a song used during the pre-Quirk era? The wrestling one? 𝗧𝗏 asked. There are some old videos, but they aren't that popular anymore. The moves they did were awesome though, Pico said. Yeah, I even watched some of them, but I don't think that it's compatible with my quirk, Kirishima said. Can we watch it now please? Oliver politely asked. Yeah, I'm already getting excited, Ash said. Well, here we go then, Anjiro said as he then put the CD on the player before pressing play. Then appearing on screen is Izuku, Flower, 𝗃𝗃, Ash, and 𝗵𝗃𝗁. But instead of Izuku taking the mic, it was 𝗵𝗃𝗁. Then 𝗃𝗃 began to play his guitar as the song then began. Black and blue I crawl along. The wreckage of what now is gone back to you to fight another day. It'll go on and on and on and on. I'm facing a demon inside created with every last part of me. Their pay will begin. It'll go on and on and on and on. All of the boys are now banging heads to the beat with 𝐭𝐲, Flower, and Georgia doing the same. I'm facing a demon inside created with every last part of me. Their pay will begin. It'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue I crawl to you. Black and blue I crawl to you. Black and blue I crawl along the wreckage of what now is gone back to you to fight another day. It'll go on and on and on and on. I'm facing demon inside created with every last part of me. Their pay will begin. It'll go on and on and on and on. I'm facing a demon inside created with every last part of me. Their pay will begin. It'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue I crawl to you. Black and blue I crawl to you. The song then ended as every struck a pose. Awesome. Both Kirishima and Denki let out a cheer. Man, we did this like a year ago. Never really knew that this was this good, 𝗵𝗃𝗁 said. Well, you were busy with helping your parents, so you really haven't had enough time to see it before we store it away, 𝗃𝗀𝗁 said. I guess it's my turn then, Shoji said as Ojira passed the box to him. As the 𝗵𝗃𝗏 user look around the box, the others decided to have a chat. So who is the first one between the two of you? Mina asked both Rin and Flower. Flower raised an eyebrow and said, What do you mean? Mina then gave them a sly smile and said, You know, did you do the thing? Everyone blushed while Minta seems to have a bleeding nose. A combination of tongue slap from Tsu and a slap from Flower knocked him out. Wa. Rin stutters in surprise. Ashido-san, you shouldn't talk something so crude, especially when there is children around. Ada scolded the pinkette. We especially don't want to tell Yuki's parents, Pico pleaded. Okay, I might have crossed a line there, but come on, one of them must have already made a move with Greenie. We will not talk about anything about that subject, Flower said with a slight blush on her face. 𝗃𝗃𝗁 was about to say something when he got slapped by an arm sprouting behind him. Especially from you, she said as she glared at the grumbling redhead. All right, found one, Shoji said as everyone felt relieved, especially Izuku, Rin, and Flower. Okay, can I see it? Momo asked as Shoji gave her the CD. Oh, Numb by Linkin Park. Never knew that you liked their songs, Zero said as Shoji just shrugs. Their songs are quite relatable. Momo then inserts the CD in the player then pressed play. On screen, the band of 5 were on screen but with Izuku back being the singer. Flower began to play her guitar while Ash quietly plays the drums. Then the song began to speed up as they began to play louder and Izuku began to sing. I'm tired of being what you want me to be. Feeling so faithless, lost under the surface, don't know what you're expecting of me, put under the pressure of walking in your shoes. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. I've become so numb I can't feel you there, become so tired, so much more aware I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. As the song continues to play, Izuku's body began to let out sparks of electricity. Can't you see that you're smothering me, holding too tightly, afraid to lose control? Cause everything that you thought I would be has fallen apart right in front of you. Every step that I take is another mistake to you, and every second I waste is more than I can take. The electricity around his body then grew like a raging storm, making the audience look in awe. I've become so numb I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you, and I know I may end up failing too, but I know you were just like me with someone disappointed in you. I've become so numb I can't feel you there, become so tired, so much more aware I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. I've become so numb I can't feel you there. I've become so numb I can't feel you there. Izuku then stopped singing, the electricity fading away while Flower continues to play her guitar till the song finally ended and everyone did a pose before the video ended. Dude, that was awesome, Denki complimented Izuku. Well, Izuku was then blushing. I did have a good teacher. We did help a bit, Rin added. Well, who's next? Tsu asked. My turn then, Takoyami said as Shoji gave him the box and began looking. Dark Shadow then appeared to have a peek in the box. Hey Fumi, let me see too, Dark Shadow said as he tries to get a better view. While he looks around, the others began to chat. So why do you guys went for a singing career? Kyoka asked the members of Vocaloid. Rin and Lin technically still are. We listened to Kumi when we were young, so Rin and I were inspired by her. Before you know it, Krypton hired us after some cover songs we made, Len said. With a lot of help from Lily, of course, Rin added. For me, it's due to my sister. I was depressed back then and Mickey suggested it for me. I was then recommended by Mickey to her place of work, but they declined. They did recommend I would go to 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 Music Inc. Under Sony, Pico said. Then your voice back got discontinued, 𝗃𝗃𝗁 said. You don't have to remind me, fuck-ass, Pico said as he glares at the redhead, before looking away and grumbles with his arms crossed. Well, for me, my family really inspires me to become one, Oliver said with a smile. It is really nice to sing, especially when my mom does it. Mama's boy much? Denki asked as Oliver just gave him a pouty face, eliciting the girls to squeal and coo at the little blonde boy. Well, for me, it was my big brother 𝗳𝗲𝗃 said as some began to snicker with him joining in. Yeah, he never lived it down. Anyway, ever since he joined Vocaloid, I want to join as well, so I have a lot of learning from him and my cousin 𝗏. Everyone then looked at Flower, who was just giving them a neutral look. Flower let out a sigh then said, "Fine, it's nothing really, I was just a fan that just got hooked into it." Then, "You met us," Pico said with a smile as everyone looked at him. She was doing a solo performance in a cafe where she met Mako-san. She sent a video of Flower to her company and Flower began to get a lot of requests from other companies that sees her potential. I was really surprised by it, Flower said as she took a deep breath before letting it out. I still feel nervous thinking about it. You should have seen her face when she come to where all the Vocaloids stay. Pico then began to chuckle a bit from the memory. Even though she looked cold, everyone easily saw how nervous she is. That was even increased when Miku decided to be the one who greets her first. Flower just blushes a bit as Yuki then raised her hand. My turn, Yuki said in excitement as everyone gushes at her a bit. Miss Miki was the one who recommended me and Kyotrue-sensei. She went to one of Kyotrue-sensei's concerts while she saw me in a talent show. We decided to be in the same company as Miss Miki. Oh, that's cute, Mina commented, imagining Yuki singing for a talent show along with the others. Well, your vocabulary is improving, but you should also work with your grammar, Pico said as he ruffled Yuki's hair as she giggles. Got one, Dark Shadow said as 𝗵𝗃𝗃 has a CD in hand. It's Dance with the Devil by 𝗵𝗃𝗃, 𝗵𝗃𝗃 said as he then gave the CD to Momo. Let's play it then, she said as she put the CD in then pressed play. The TV then show Izuku sitting by a tree with his back against the tree while Flower sits on the opposite side doing the same as him. The melody then began to play as Izuku began to sing. Every night that I'm alone, I fall in a different zone. I am in a place, my body isn't needed anymore. I see phantoms at my window. Third level of my estate, they walk on a certain level. Looking at me, through a double pane they see mine. Theirs is Jane, we both nod. We both wave, they're probably just lost, like me, but never had the time to spare, but even if we did it, probably wouldn't catch my lingo looking at me skeptical. Like I was Johnny Ringo, it's safe to say that they don't mean no harm. Though they whisper to me, till my eyes fall inside my pillow, put me in a natural trip, to levels of dimensions, let me see my future. Through some type of supernatural premonition, I don't want to dance with the devil, I just want to confront him, at a table, and I don't need your hollow promise. I just need to look you in the eyes, and tell you that you didn't help me make it. The two that began to sway go the beat as they have their eyes closed. You didn't help me make it, you didn't help me make it, you didn't help me make it. Flower then opened her eyes as she continues the song. The devil, he wears a scarf, full of fake happiness and promises. He says he calls your city, like things of gold and accomplishments, but I've been reading documents that say your words are counterfeit. Get a lesson in myself, with no reason to be announced, and at times have changed. I've stepped away from the deception of the man that's looking over Broadway. I know the power of myself, so I'm tacking full percentage while they sleeping on me. I'm sleeping in these white linens when the stage lights all go out. I'll be okay, stay high all day. In the shade my mind went up, it didn't come down, it flows. All alone, in the gracelands, and I don't want to dance with the devil, I just want to confront him, at a table, and I don't need your hollow promise, I just need to look you in the eyes, and tell you that you didn't help me make it. The two then stood up as they walk away from the tree, and their eyes meet. You didn't help me make it. You didn't help me make it. They then smiled at each other as they began to walk away from the tree. You didn't help me make it. I don't want to dance with the devil. I've been on my grind, like the whole time, so I'm on a whole different level. As they walk, their voices are being played in the background while the two looked like they were talking each other. Body gestures showing that are having a good time along with the smiles on their faces. You can see it in my eyes. I was built for this. It's finally my time. Yeah, I killed for this, plotted from the sidelines, till I made the shift. Now, it's my time for the tack, and I'm just chasing money. Trina dodged the fame. I had plenty of problems before I had my chain. Now, my diamonds are blinded. Even in all of your shade, you didn't help me make it. That's a fact. I'm happy to say I don't want to dance with the devil. I just want to confront him, at a table, and I don't need your hollow promise. I just need to look you in the eyes, and tell you that you didn't help me make it. On the distance, their friends are waiting by a small van with Gyumi being their driver. They then see Izuku and Flower in the distance as they walk at them from the distance. You didn't help me make it. You didn't help me make it. Rin and Oliver ran up to them. Rin managing to tackle Izuku down to the ground while Flower managed to catch Oliver before getting the same fate. They just laugh as they continued their walk to the van. You didn't help me make it as the melody continues to play. It was now nighttime and everyone was inside the van. Some were already asleep when Gyumi looked at the rear view mirror to see that both Izuku and Flower were asleep, the both of them leaning against each other as Gyumi from the side The song then ended as the city of Musutafu was last seen before it finally ended. That was actually pretty sweet, Toru said. So you had it rough too? Kyoka asked Flower. You had no idea, but I did like the look on their faces due to where I am now, Flower said with a small smile of pleasure on her face. My turn, Denki said as he grabbed the box. I never really did have a chance in picking one. As he began to look around, everyone went back to chatting. So, ever went along with their tours, specifically world tours? Ciro asked the Verdant hero. Well yeah, that is how I met Ash in the first place, Izuku said. So how does it feel? Ejiro asked. Well, I guess breathtaking, he said as he smiled a bit. I even met the other singers there, their respective employers letting them join the tours so they could have fun while the rest sang. Each tour is crazy due to everyone wanting to explore every place, Len said. Oh yeah, 𝗵𝘃𝗲 said as he let out a chuckle as he remembers every single one. Like that one time when we were going to the US with some members from 𝗬𝗂𝗧𝗏 𝐔𝐬𝐽 and 𝗧𝗵𝗏 playing with the rest of the kids and teens while the adults have their own, so 𝗵𝘃𝗲 and I decided to mess with everyone on the plane with different ideas in mind. 𝗵𝘃𝗲 then laughs and said, I still remembered that, like how we moved Tae next to Len when they were sleeping. You should have seen how scared he was when Tae wouldn't let him go. What do you expect? Len questions them angrily. You had my stalker sleep next to me, who wouldn't let me go, and sleep talks about us getting married. I might also add that she would hurt those who try to get between us. Why is she still active? Ada questions as he and everyone were a bit scared. Because she is all talk, Flower answered with her arms crossed. While she could do it, she wouldn't dare when our companies allowed us to use our quirks to defend ourselves. So if she crossed the line, then she will be immediately put under arrest along with some time in the mental ward. She knows this very clearly, so she is slightly improving, but that still didn't stop her from being too clingy, Rin said. 𝗬𝗂𝗧 made sure of this by checking her room every day, 𝗵𝘃𝗲 said. Okay then, Todoroki said as the others were quite a bit till Denki finally found a song. All right here, Denki said as he passed the CD to Momo. Love dramatic, Momo said in wonder as she put the CD in and pressed play. Then on screen are two adults that most of the audience didn't know. One of them is a young man with fair skin, spiky black hair, and round light brown eyes. The other is a young woman with long yellow blonde hair and a ponytail with a fringe on the front and greenish yellow eyes. The former wearing a black suit while the latter is wearing a white wedding dress. Hey, that's my mom and dad. Is this their wedding video? Ash asked. They let us have a copy of their wedding dance, Izuku said as everyone quickly looked back at the screen. Both of them are on the dance floor with other people watching them. Joyful music then began to play from the background as the wedded couple began to dance. Oh love me Mr. Yum Janai Nara Kikasitni Mr. Mu Mr. Jarasa Ruru Hodo Setsunai Amoy Dake Gob Dasu Sono Shisen Nai Maksunai Naru Futari Dake Noa Bunai Game Love is War. Love is war. Love is war. The guests then joined the fun as they dance along while the couple were doing the paso doble. Odora seat dramatic walk horkara ijuwaru na koi no yakin shibaru fureta yubai no sakiga unmei wo machuwabai turu inata nai iwastai kokoro no kabe wo yabaru ai no kokuhaku o love me Mr. Yum Janai Nara Kikaseat ni Mr. Mu Mr. Jarasa Ruru Hodo Setsunai. Amoy dake ga berdasu sono shisen nai maksunai naru futari dake no abunai game Love is war. Love is war. Love is war. The two were then doing the tango as another couple danced beside them, both having brown hair. Mato a seat sono kai ga nai saubari to otagai nai keikiki wo and jitaru furui iga no yu na yashashai ketsumatsu wa aranai yuzo sai kobamanai. Ai nai dakarit mato kawart midai o love me Mr. Kairi na yokaga masit ni Mr. Mu Mr. Kuchidzuke made ga tukudutsukushi sa nai kaku sarada pure na dake janai hitomi nai namakamaru abunai game Love is war. Love is war. Love is war. Anata wa itsu made. Kari iwanai no ai no himitsu amasugu akashide love me. Oh love me Mr. Yum Janai Nara Kikaseat ni Mr. Mu Mr. Anata no idashai koda amoy wa mu tamaranai iso sebit ubai sat futari dake no abunai game Love is war. 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 The two continued to dance along to the beat while the rest stopped. They continued to do so energetically till the song finally ends. Before the video ended, the two shared a kiss with guests cheering and clapping before the screen turns black. That was beautiful, Mina said as she then has a pouty face. I feel a little bit jealous. Oh, you'll have your chances, Toru assured her friend. I think that's enough for us, Len said as he and the other guests began to stand up. You're right, we should probably continue the tour, Tenya said as he quickly went for the door. You can check more of the songs if you want, just don't look around too much, Flower said as she, the group, and their tour guides, with the exception of Momo, Kyoka, and Shoto, then leads them out. Well, you heard them, Ciro said with a grin. So who's next? Everyone immediately discussed who was going next. 𝗂𝗵𝗃, a very late twin drills special. Okay, where are we going? Tito asked as she has a blindfold on. She knew that it was her birthday today, but she doesn't know what it's in store for her. Don't worry, we're almost there. She heard 𝐒𝐵𝐵's voice as she was being led by her and her nephew. You will have your mind blown. She then heard 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗵𝗲 saying that made 𝗃𝗃 a bit angry. This is not better be a prank, 𝗃𝗃 said. We made sure that it isn't, 𝗒𝐵𝐵 assured her as she is silent for a few seconds before speaking. Alright, here we are. But don't remove the blindfold just yet. Then 𝗃𝗃 heard a bell before feeling the cold air coming probably from a fan or air conditioner. Alright, you can take it off. 𝗃𝗃 then reaches for the knot behind her head to loosen the blindfold as her eyes adjust to the light. Surprise! 𝗃𝗃 then jumps a bit as they're standing there. Before her are members of Vocaloid, 𝗬𝗡𝗎, 𝐒𝐵𝐵𝐵, and many more in a large event center. Along with them are some of their friends that they have made. Happy birthday, 𝗃𝗃-san, Miku said with a wide smile on her face. Come on. 𝗒𝐵𝐵 then grabbed 𝗃𝗃's wrist. You don't want to let your guest wait for you, don't you? 𝗃𝗃 was then dragged into the crowd where there is a large feast for her along with her favorite French bread. Then 𝗃𝗃 felt a hand on her shoulder. She looked back to see a young man behind her. He has long pink hair and a ponytail with blood-red eyes. His earphones are pink with red illumination. He wears a more masculine version of 𝗃𝗃's clothes. What do you think, 𝗵𝗲? He asked. It's great, Ted. It's great, 𝗃𝗃 answered with a smile, with the now named Ted doing the same. All right, folks. On the stage of the event center, there stood Pico along with Mickey. Let's get this party started. Everyone then cheered as they do various things for the party. There were games that the kids enjoyed, with some of the adults having fun that is either good or bad for the kids. Then there was the food. Everyone rushed to the buffet table, picking whatever food that is on, but 𝗃𝗃 made sure that all of the French bread was hers. Then there was the dance. Some are dancing with their friends, family, and loved ones, especially 𝗃𝗃 dancing with one of the many composers that she works with. As the party continues, 𝗃𝗃 sits at the table with her brother, 𝗃𝗃𝗧, her nephew 𝗂𝗧, and her niece 𝐒𝐻. She was eating some of the food she gotten along with French bread when she saw someone approached her. It was a young woman wearing a crimson dress with a sweetheart neckline detailed with gold. The hem of the dress is adorned with a gold thread pattern. Underneath her dress, she wears black tights. Around her waist is a gold belt buckled in the front with a ruby. She wears a gold shoulder plate and cuffs. A cape of bright yellow hangs on her back, the color fading into burnt orange. Upon her golden head sits a pointy gold tiara. Her hair is a dirty blonde at the roots and a pale yellow at the tips. Her eyes are the color of ambers. She has a constellation-like pattern on her cheeks. Her shoes are golden pumps. She accessorizes with a gold necklace and ankle bracelet. A dust of bright colors surrounds her hands. Miss Cassane, the woman greeted her. 𝗂𝗱, what do you want? 𝗃𝗃 asked with a mouthful of bread before swallowing. Well, this for you, the now named 𝗂𝗱 said as she presented 𝗃𝗃 an envelope. You could say that this is a very special gift for you. 𝗃𝗃 huffs as she grabbed the envelope. Let's see about that. She then opened the envelope to see a piece of paper inside with something printed on it. She looked through the printed paper as her eyes slowly grew wider and wider. She then looked at 𝗂𝗱 with a shocked look on her face and said while pointing at her, say psyche right now. 𝗂𝗱 just giggles while Ted and their niece and nephews have amused looks on their faces. I'm afraid that this is no joke, 𝗂𝗱 said as she then offered her hand to her. Welcome to Synthv, Miss Cassane. 𝗃𝗃 just sat there in shock while holding the piece of paper with shaky hands. She then looked to her brother. When was this planned? She asked Ted with a stutter. Well, our boss thought of telling you about the collaboration, but they think it would be better to give this to you as a gift, Ted said with a chuckle before remembering something. And speaking of gifts, Ted then brought out a small red and blue gift. This is for you, he said as he gave it to his sister. With the gift in hand, 𝗃𝗃 opened it as tears began to form on her eyes. Inside the gift was a brand new set of clothes, which were red and light gray in color along with a pair of black boots and a white ribbon. Move. They then saw Pico and Flower carrying a cake towards 𝗃𝗃's table. Move out of the way, people. Cake coming through. The two then set the cake on the table with 𝗃𝗃𝗧 lighting the candles with a small fire coming from his finger. All right, everyone, gather around, Mickey called out as everyone come together as 𝗬𝗵𝐵 stood by the birthday girl. Okay, everyone. So a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, go. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Blow the candle. Both Rin and Lin said in excitement as 𝗃𝗃 then blow out the candles. Everyone then cheers. 𝗃𝗃 was a little bit shocked, but with what transpires today, she couldn't help but let out tears of joy. Are you okay? Oliver asked as 𝗃𝗃 wiped the tears from her eyes. I'm fine, she said with a smile on her face. I'm just very happy. Well, happy birthday, 𝗃𝗃, Ted said to his sister as everyone looked at her with smiles of appreciation. 𝗃𝗃 then smiled at them in gratitude and said, thank you, everyone. So who's next? Kaminari asked the others. I haven't got a turn yet, Aoyama said as the blonde gave him the box and he began to look through them before finding one. Fireworks by Katy Perry. Oh, another classic, Toru said in excitement as Aoyama gave the CD to Momo. The rich girl then put the CD in the player and pressed play. Then on screen is a teenage 𝐭 as she was facing a beach while having headphones on. Isn't that Miss Midoriya? Sue asked as everyone looked at Bakugo for answers. How the fuck do you think I will know that? Even if my old hag knows, would I really fucking care? He said to them. He does have a point, Zero said as he does admit that no one would really care what other people listens to unless they heard it themselves. Oh, it's starting, Mina said as everyone looked back to the screen. On screen, the iconic beat began to play before 𝐭 began to sing. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screams, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you? 'Cause there's a spark in you. She then used her quirk as small balls of sand float around her. She twirls in place and the sand ball of sand follows her movement. You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just own the night like the 4th of July. She then raised up her arms, making the balls of sand go skyward while continuing to circle around in various sizes. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show him what you're worth. Make him go, oh, oh, oh as you shoot across the sky.